Your wife's cookies are out of this world.
Who told you you can eat my cookies?
Oh, these cookies! I gotta get the recipe from Les.
Put that cookie down! Now!
What up? Welcome to the 12th episode of the Deep Seated Podcast.
Yes, and the Christmas episode.
The Christmas episode at that. And only appropriate. We got some decorations up on the wall here. Not a lot by any means, but
just peppered in the background.
We'd sprinkle a little Christmas in the back, but
Christmas.
I think this will be the most appropriate way to start this one off.
Would you do us the honors of spitting Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Come on! Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I love that he bangs on the
Had a
table.
very shiny nose. And if you ever saw him, you would even say it close. Come on! All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer
It's still just as good as the first time I saw it.
Foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, come on! Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you ride my sleigh tonight?
He's so
Then all the reindeers loved him, and they shouted out weekly, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you go down in history forever. You go down in history forever. You go down in history. What?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Did I get the names right for the reindeer?
It's so fucking funny, dude. Every time I hear him now, though, I can't not think of the fucking the Reading Rainbow remix with him in it.
Yo, Reading Rainbow, though.
Yeah.
For those
So
who
good.
know, Reading Rainbow.
Shouts out.
I love the fact
What was that?
that...
LeVar Burton? What was his name? Isn't it LeVar?
Was that his
I'm
name?
pretty sure it's LeVar.
Homie from fucking Star
Homie
Trek,
from Star
right?
Trek. That was
Yeah.
Data.
Yeah.
I wasn't even a Star Trek fan, and I know that shit. Why the fuck do I know that? That's just our era, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
I love the fact that he just is like, oh yeah, I know the lyrics.
Yeah.
He just
Yo,
starts,
I don't need the
He
I
just
don't
starts
need the
rapping,
lyrics.
and then he goes in beating is like the ultimate.
Reading fucking Rainbow.
Dude, look at that headshot. Amazing.
Oh, man. So,
That show was so awesome.
dude, that shit was legit as fuck.
There was such good
Yeah, LeVar
kinda,
Burton.
educational shows. Hey,
Oh, dude.
like Magic School Bus.
Yeah. Magic School Bus?
Magic School Bus.
Dude.
So good.
There was always it seemed to be like an underlying value put in all the shows and stuff from the time. Like even we did the Home Improvement intro a little while ago.
Oh yeah.
And that show
They sneak in the real life problems.
it would always
and
be so
then
silly,
learn
Tim
something.
putting more power in some shit, and then there'd always be that point in the show where they'd be like doo-doo-doo-doo. And then there'd be just problems in the household or some shit, or when Tim walks out to be like, oh, Wilson, I need some life advice because I kind of suck at
Right,
life.
yeah.
You know?
Yo, man, my day's been fucked up, fam.
And there's Wilson just yes, tell me more about it. And then give him some crazy quote about life from some philosopher or some
Totally
shit.
right. He's like fucking Yoda.
Dude, that
You know,
was always
man?
the best. And then the misquoting from fucking Tim Allen when he would try to quote Wilson again later on. He'd be like,
along the lines.
Yeah. I'm trying
yeah.
to think of what the fucking something would it be, but it would always just be so botched. It was so fun because he would try to
So good.
explain it to these other people like he was being
Yeah,
wise,
yeah.
and then they would look at him like,
You're
what?
like, I don't think that's quite
Yeah,
it.
measure twice, cut once. And
Yeah.
he's like, now always cut
Check your sources.
twice because you only need to measure once or something literally that bad.
Dude, I was gonna say the Street Sharks intro,
oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. I was talking about those toys, how I actually had some of those toys, I remember. But what's funny about watching that right now, that intro, is that's literally and the one episode, they had the full episode on YouTube, and it was Jurassic Shark.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's funny about that is when I was following the next Jurassic Park for there's a fucking a 12-year gap, I swear, from Jurassic Park 3 to Jurassic World.
Yeah.
That was originally sort of the same idea for Jurassic World, was
Right,
they were
right,
gonna
right.
do InGen was gonna mix DNA with people and
Oh,
dinosaurs.
Okay, yeah.
And so it was it'd be half dinosaur, half person. They would use them for like the military, and you can actually look it up. There's like conceptual art,
right,
like of like these like jacked dinosaurs that
And
have like
so that
man legs.
And that was like an original concept for the Jurassic Park stuff.
Jurassic World.
Oh, Jurassic World.
Yeah, because there was like
Okay.
it was like a 12-year gap or something.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
But yeah.
Well, like just even through like how time morphs like that. I remember when I was telling you that I was watching all that stuff on the practical effects. Well, I ended up watching the whole documentary on the building of the Jurassic Park ride, and that was planned before the movie was. And they had based it off of a scene from the novel, which was a scene that they ended up ousting from the movie.
Michael Crichton.
Yeah.
For those who don't know.
So basically, like, there's this ride that like literally has nothing. I mean, none of it has nothing to do with it, but the scene that the ride is based off of isn't in the movie.
Yeah.
So it was like nobody really caught on to that, but like when you actually kind of like find out about that, they're like, oh shit, they built it off of a fucking scene that they expected to be in the movie.
Yeah.
And then they're like, nah. And it's just like one of the most expensive rides ever built in Universal Studios.
I saw it when we went to Japan. They had it.
Yeah, they have the one in Japan.
Yeah,
now, They built that in like 2011 or some shit. Something like that.
I don't know.
But it was fairly recent. It was fairly recent.
But yeah, they had that ride, and what was sick is they had like a Jurassic Park section.
Right.
They had the Jurassic Park like sign, you know, at the door. Obviously, I had to get my photo in front of that.
Oh fuck yeah!
I felt like such a little kid. I was like, oh my god, this is so sick. And
that's the thing, man, with that ride is like it turns into the closest thing to what could almost be the movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And then they had the Ford Explorer.
Yep.
Just parked there.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, yo, and I was like just like totally nerding out, checking it out. Like, oh man, getting my photo in front of that too.
Just fucking face hurting. I don't really like too much.
I don't really fuck with rides.
Right.
But
really?
No, I don't. Yeah.
Just a fucking like.
I don't know. I don't like heights. And like rides and shit. Like, I think we talked about like the shitty roller coaster at Peony before.
Oh, the coaster.
I don't know if it was on this, but
no, it wasn't
we definitely talked about it.
Yeah. The cat and mouse ride. You ever go on that one?
No, the wooden roller coaster.
Yeah, the coaster. Yeah.
Because like I never fucked with rides, but I got like pressured into going.
Oh, okay.
Right,
yeah,
and I was like, I just did it to like make these people shut up, basically. And that old rickety ass wood one, and like the bar. I swear to God, dude, the bar, like how it's supposed to close, you know, like against you, right? And then you basically put your hands over it.
Yeah.
Right. But this one, it like closed here. Yeah. And there was like, I was like, why is there like a 3-foot gap between me and this fucking bar? So sketchy that it literally wouldn't go any closer.
That's one of the oldest standing
I went like
wooden roller coasters
to hold on to it. I like went like this to hold on to the bar. It was so far away.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't hold like this because I would rise up. So I had to like brace myself down the whole time, dude. And I was like fucking freaking out because I was sliding around and like you would at the drops you would lift up and I'm like, oh my God, like this is not like supposed to be like this. But
I loved rides as a kid, but like now being the size I am, there's no fucking way I'm going on anything. Like they'd be like, oh, it's perfectly safe for an average person.
Yeah, for the 5'9",
not 6'7". Like, you know, like one of those rides where your feet are like dangling off and my feet are like dangling past where people's shits are or something.
I was gonna say, in Japan at Universal Studios, one thing that sucked though about the Jurassic Park section, like where you would walk in, it had the door, like the Jurassic Park door at the sign.
Yeah.
They had like this weird netting that was all around that whole section, and it was kind of netted off, so you couldn't get a clear photo in front of the sign, which was shitty. But because there was
happens nowadays.
There was another ride, because they had the water one that they built, where they go through the dinosaurs up the thing to the T-Rex head, and then boom, you drop, right?
Yeah.
So when you walk in, you could see like them come out from the bottom where they would drop in the water would spray, right? But
yeah, that was one of the big things about
a
Jurassic Park ride is that you go through the whole thing and then at the end there's this crazy like almost 45-degree angle vertical drop. Like
it's something insane, like 100-foot drop or something.
Yeah.
But they have it all blocked off, so the only way you can actually see like what they go through like in like the dinosaurs is you have to wait in the line and go on the ride.
Right,
It's all
right,
blocked off. But they had a newer ride that they built that goes over top. It's a roller coaster where it goes over your chest.
Yeah.
So you're harnessed in like that, and then your feet like just hang down.
Yeah.
Right.
Those ones were so
and
fun.
it's this pterodactyl ride.
Right.
So
it's linked to Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So that's why they have that netting everywhere.
Right,
is
right,
so
right.
like if people drop shit, it's not gonna just
For sure.
smoke people in the face or something.
Yeah.
It'll get caught, right? So at the very front, so if you're the first person, ahead of you is an actual pterodactyl. Like
Oh shit.
it's almost life size.
Right,
Like
right,
it
right.
was pretty big. So it's like it's emulating that you're
pretty dope.
one flying around over like the whole section. It was pretty cool, but
At first, I thought you were maybe saying that it was just some other random ride going
Oh,
over
no,
top of it.
cutting
Like, that'd be
through. They
so
ran out of
gross.
space.
Like, at least it's like actually Jurassic
Yeah,
Park
yeah,
theme.
yeah.
Fucking like they just
Yeah.
like fucking Superman ride over
Oh,
top of
yeah.
Jurassic Park or some shit.
Yeah.
Like what?
no,
But yeah,
they did a good job with kind of separating
Right,
sections.
right.
Like so
Well, because the
you're
whole thing
kinda
about those,
you're immersed.
yeah,
in it,
when you
right?
go to those kind of like theme parks, is that you want to be immersed or part of like that vibe of like what the whole thing
so they
is.
purposely
Yeah.
section off. And
It's like Toontown
The-
at fucking Disneyland.
yeah, there's a gap between them. So it's not like they're like touching,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
like you
yeah.
have to walk to
You're
the
just
next
like
section.
walking, and then all of a sudden you're in dinosaur land, like just like from one store.
Yeah,
to
it's
the
not
next.
just like a line where it's
Yeah,
like
it's just-
Jurassic Park and then whatever.
just like trickling, fucking like
It was cool too. They also had, I remember next to the Jurassic Park one, before it was the whole Jaws section.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's like the Amity, or no, is it Amityville?
Amityville, Amity Horror. I don't know. I'm not sure.
What's the name of the town? Is it Amity? I feel like it was the town in Jaws was called Amity.
Might be.
Maybe not
I'm not
Amityville.
sure.
Maybe just Amity.
Yeah.
Anyways, but they had the actual sign from the movie.
Oh, okay.
You know, with the for like the tourists, where it's like the girls like on the beach,
Right.
and then the kids vandalize it and draw like the shark
Yeah.
fin, right? So they had that like graffitied up too, and then they had the whole town. So it was like a little marina was set up. They had like the big jaws, like as if it was caught, and
Yeah.
you could take your photo like in its head. You know?
I did that one at the original or the OG fucking Universal Studios in Anaheim, and fucking when they had like the OG Jaws ride, where it was the whole tour actually, where you'd go on like the series of carts that would take you through the King Kong fucking
Oh, they were connected. Like
yeah.
just
It was
keep
a
going?
whole tour through
Oh,
fucking thing, and it would
sick.
drive you through all these fucking. It was so sick, man. And then so you go through King Kong thing, which scared the fucking shit out of me. Those animatronics, man.
Yeah,
And,
they're
like,
legit, yeah.
Dude. And then like the way that they freaking like they had the other one that was on the way to there. You're driving through the fucking like the parkade kind of area, and then like the building collapses and there's an earthquake happening, and like
Smoking
fires,
sparks and shit.
like
yeah.
literally fires shooting sparks, and
Yeah.
it's so hot. And then you come out of that area into where there's like you're going over the bridge, and then King Kong comes up and starts
So
fucking
sick.
shaking the bridge and shit, and his eyes are all like lit up like this creepy red, and like it was just. I remember being
So
legit
memorable.
like I was probably only like fucking like 6 or 7 years old the first time I saw that, and I was just like,
That's too young.
no way,
No?
no way, bro. Because like you knew it was fake, but it was just so real
Like,
that it was just
whoa.
like it was amazing. Like it was left such an impact that it was just like, because they do such a good job of explaining all the shit, like why you're on this ride too. Like they make it seem like it's some real thing.
Oh,
but
they're
then
like, oh shit, what's going on?
like, oh my god,
Yeah,
here
yeah.
comes King Kong, and then
Yeah.
like the Jaws one was so funny. Like
I've watched it on YouTube.
Yeah,
you can,
yeah.
You can watch the rides
oh
that people
dude,
go on.
I did that recently.
Yeah,
I've watched the Jurassic Park,
yeah,
and
and
the
then the
Jaws
Jaws
one.
one's sick.
And it's like, it's so sick. You're like riding along the trolley, and you just kind of like you see this guy out fishing in the middle of the
And he's
fucking
like, he waves,
yeah,
yeah,
and then he gets fucking pulled under.
That's fucked.
You're like, what the fuck? And then you see the fucking fin coming towards you, and it goes under the water, and you're like, and this,
You're like, yo, I went off.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
good. I don't
and
like this anymore.
gigantic fucking great white pops up out of the water right in front of you, and you're getting splashed by the water, and it's fucking like that shit.
And then you got like the tourist, right? It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
she's like giving you a tour, and then she's like, "Oh my god!" Like
Yeah.
she plays along and shit. So
Dude,
funny.
and then fucking so then you eventually come around the corner, And then they had fucking
He comes up on like against the side, doesn't he?
yeah, he fucks up the whole thing
Yeah.
after the whole thing. But like eventually after the whole ride, when you come around this fucking shed, you see him up on the fucking bank, like all fucking dead, and it's like
Oh, doesn't he
eyeball-
like bite like the cable wire? He
Yeah, yeah. He gets electrocuted and shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, that's so crazy. Just like explaining that, like I literally just got like a semi adrenaline rush just from remembering like all this shit. Like you're just like, holy
That's crazy.
fuck.
You went on that.
Seeing that shit when you're a kid, man, like
Gets you.
yeah,
Movie magic.
yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. Just even the crazy shit that was so cool was the like they had like those themed shows. Like they had the Wild West show and shit like that, where it was like you'd go see it and it was like an hour long like
Like play
kind of
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
But then like they would have this gigantic set where there'd be guys fucking like they would come up with their fake guns and stuff like that. And they're 6-shooters, and the guy would pop out of the top like the door on top of the cavern, and he'd get shot and he'd fall out onto a fucking thing. And then there'd be guys getting dragged behind horses, and then there'd just be like
That's so
they'd be
crazy.
doing all these crazy stunts in person because they're trained stuntmen, right?
Yeah.
But like that was the whole thing. The wicked thing about Universal Studios was it was like
They were literally
breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To like show you the movie magic.
Exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
they're literally bringing you what they do in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
movies,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
So it was almost like even with like the going through the King Kong and like the Jaws thing where they're playing it up and hamming it up. Then after it, they would kind of be like kind of explaining like how crazy is like this like you know what I mean? Like part of it maybe trying to calm down the younger people or like whatever. But then
did you enjoy the ride?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, like, trying to show you like
yeah.
it's so crazy how like blah 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 how you know seamlessly this all flows together and that you know and like you'd sometimes even get to see shit get put back together and like just like you'd see this little random insight into it after you get the experience. Then they kind of like further give you a bit more insight. It was so cool. Like I've always been a behind the scenes kind of guy.
Oh, totally.
So then like you know
And you can do it. Is it the one in Florida where you can go on like
I'm not 100%
the movie
sure.
lots? They do like the tour.
Oh,
I think.
okay. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it was Florida.
I'd be pretty fucking down for that.
Right? Yeah.
I brought up this fucking clip when you were talking about Street Sharks. I don't know if you've ever fucking seen this, but our homie Vin Diesel, back before he got fucking super jacked. I mean, he's still pretty jacked, but I don't know if you ever remember this commercial.
What are we looking at here?
We're looking at Boomer. This is Boomer. He's got the biggest mouth of them all. He's the whale shark. Say hello to that round mound of pound and his
Oh my, yeah,
palates
that's one of the
very
toys.
deadly.
Yeah, they got him to fucking
He
do a
loves to
commercial for it.
tenderize the competition before he eats them. Then we've got Sledge the Hammerhead. Sledge the Hammerhead loves
That's the
to
one I always wanted was the
destroy
hammerhead.
Yeah, and
competition
then he
with a
fires his
flying
head
head
like a missile.
You
So
got me?
sick.
He's the
Toys
leader
that
of the
shot
Street
shit?
Sharks. He's a
Dude,
great
I had
fucking-
that one.
Yeah,
He's
towards
the
the
main
shot
one?
shit that you would
Real
lose after like
shark
2
skin.
weeks.
And
But the funniest shit though
his
is like
special
there's been so
power
many
is
people
the
that
right
drag on this
hand
shit that are just like,
roundhouse
Vin,
punch.
like,
he sends
you
the
a mouse stripper?
competition to a watery grave.
Right? Yeah.
Boom!
I know you're doing the like the
Tell you, I
90s
wanna
tough
show
man
you
shit,
something
but
up
like
close and personal.
leather
I've got something here
vest?
with such fantastic
Nothing
details
else?
Yeah,
to blow
yeah.
you away.
That's
But a
like
chain?
ultimate confidence.
Shark!
right as you say ultimate confidence.
I'm doing good. Shark! Rocky Balboa action. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do.
God. What the fuck is that? That's a
Those were the hand
A
sharks.
commercial for-
Oh yeah.
or like a review, like that's like a
I don't
unbox
even know,
therapy.
man. Yeah, exactly. Fucking
Like what?
Vinbox therapy.
What the fuck was that?
That's so fucking funny. Yeah, it's just like this random clip that like showed up from fucking the internet. Like, dude, there's another one that like that is way before, another
him?
decade before that, where he used to be a fucking a b-boy, like popping and locking
Really?
and shit. He had a fro. And he was part
fro?
Yeah.
Shit.
He had a fucking fro.
Respect.
I'm gonna bring the video up, of course, but
yeah.
but it's so funny because it's like he was literally the nerdiest looking scrawny kid with a fro, and he was a fucking b-boy dancer, and fucking
What like is it? Was it an ad for something?
no,
or
just
like
part of a crew,
like, just
that,
like home video
that danced
shit?
on fucking TV and shit.
Really?
Yeah. So fuck here. Let me find it. But it's
Is
just
it that right there on the left?
yes. Yes, it is.
with the left leg kick.
Yo, that's Vin Diesel.
Kick kick out the right and
Yeah, it was a
cross
whole
the
dance
left.
fucking tutorial.
Remove
video.
the left leg and replace
His
further
real
left.
name is Mark Vincent.
Bring your right leg under and your right arm over.
Like
Sounds
you,
like a
Then your
tutorial.
left leg under
Yeah.
and your right arm over. Kick your left leg and return. Kick your right leg
Like, he
and
legit
cross
looks
the left
like
leg.
fucking.
Move the left
Looks like
leg
Drake.
I was just gonna say
replace it
Drake from Degrassi
further
High.
left.
Yeah.
Like scrawny little
Put
Jewish
your
kid.
right leg
Wheelchair
under
Jimmy.
and bring
Yeah.
your
Or the
left arm
wheelchair.
over.
Jeez,
Then your
boy.
left arm under and your right arm
Alright, let
over.
me get through fucking. That's slow-mo. So here we go. Look at him go, Vinny,
Crazy, man.
Mark Vincent.
It's cool to see like shit people did before,
Pump
like,
and lock into the
because
crew.
you only know them for
Oh, dude,
like as
exactly.
being
Right?
in like Fast and Furious, really.
Dude, this is so great. It's like so the opposite of who he became. Like the voice, the muscles, the like
Between the
clearly-
legs, yo.
yeah, the worm through his legs. That's amazing. The best is fucking Adidas. Like just started reissuing these fucking
Tracksuits?
tracksuits like that, like the the dual tone like that with the stripe through the middle. Vin got the moves.
Damn. Yo. That's dope.
That's hype. Yeah.
And he's like legit like enjoying it.
Yeah,
You know
oh,
what
yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
Like, yeah, you fucked with that.
And see, that's like the cool ass part about it. It's like you see some shit like that where it's just like, yo, okay, so dude's always trying to find his lane.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So then like clearly that was an outlet that he had found. I mean, this is just me speculating, but clearly that's an outlet that he found because he probably got picked on when he was younger or some shit, or like clearly just like I don't mean that in a bad way, but that's usually what happens a lot with like us creatives and stuff of that nature, is that you try to find an outlet because you're not happy with what's like going on in like the main social like status quo or whatever. You're kind of like, oh, I need to find something to escape.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
for sure.
or like once you finally get out of school and you're like, okay, fuck all that bullshit and all those like jackasses
like,
that
work,
were there.
And then what's my thing gonna
Yeah,
be?
yeah. So he finally meets his pop and lock and crew, and like, you know, he's probably like only like 17 or 18 in that. Like, you
He
know,
looks pretty young.
he looked real
Yeah,
young,
like
you know,
16 maybe,
yeah, for real, right? So
Yeah.
maybe still in school kind of thing, just finding his fucking like, you start to find your roots in school, like for your your creative roots. I feel
Like you can look back and
Yeah,
see
yeah,
like where it maybe started. Or,
Yeah,
like where
for
the
sure.
spark was, right?
exactly.
Even
like,
if you didn't really do it,
mm,
you're like, oh, well, I did start it, or I was introduced back
yeah,
then.
yeah. Or
Maybe
I was
put it
just
onto your
like,
radar. You know what I mean?
I hopped into something. It might not have been what like my actual purview was, or like my lane per se, but it ended up being something where I found that I can vest myself creatively and have that escape, or like just like we all know that thing when all of a sudden it's like, that's the beauty of being like creative. It's just all of a sudden you like you lift your head up and you're like, oh, it's fucking been like 2-3 hours.
Yeah. The flow state.
Yeah,
right? When
for
you
real,
get-
right? So, you know, like
you
that
get
shit, like
zoned out.
you experience that through a multitude of things from when you're in high school and stuff, and it's like you say, being able to pinpoint certain things that like you know, maybe then, you know, he was getting picked on for certain things and that, and then now that's why he leads into a point of going like, okay, I don't want to be the scrawny Jewish kid anymore. I'm going bald, so I'm gonna own my baldness and just get jacked and wear leather vests. Only leather vests.
That was like, I feel like The Rock did that when he was wrestling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a move in the 90s. That was like a badass move. Is if you only wore a leather vest,
That's crazy.
like you're fucking like Stone Cold Steve Austin did that shit too. That was his whole
True.
fucking jam,
Yeah.
right? Bike, and that was just the thing with like bikers, right? Or they'd have like the
badass,
leather, yeah, the
right?
badass
Yeah.
leather cut, fucking with like the smallest super cut tank top underneath or
Oh
some
my god,
shit.
like the Gators gym and
yeah,
shit.
yeah. And you're just like,
Yeah.
whoa, like
I remember a kid I went to elementary school with, his dad was like that. Like,
yeah,
you know when you're in elementary school and you're friends with like, you know, you got your clique,
Yeah.
right?
for sure.
And then the first time you see their parents,
You're like,
yeah, that was
What?
one of those moments. I remember I was friends with this kid for man, like maybe like 2 grades, like,
Right.
like a long time. And then the first time I saw his dad, and his dad was one of those Gator Gym dudes. He came to pick him up from school, and I remember.
What are you doing, Kat?
Yeah.
Walking through the support of our fucking studio light.
the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
And his dad rolled up, and like, yeah, those crazy low cut, and then they were really low cut on the sides too.
Yeah, just the super
And
bro
then,
cut.
and then he had the Gator Gym hoodie, but you know when you zip it like to there,
yeah, for
and
sure.
then this is just open,
Yeah,
and
so
like,
when you walk,
it's almost
it fills
hanging,
up like a parachute.
yeah, and it's almost like hanging off his shoulders, and he had like the full sweatsuit.
It's like hanging on just by his traps.
Yeah, and yeah, dude, for real. And I remember looking at this dude, and I was like, the closest thing I've seen to someone in person that looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right,
like, at his prime.
right. And he was probably wearing a Bum Equipment t-shirt.
His fucking,
you remember
dude,
that brand?
yeah, dude. His dad was jacked.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just shred city.
No anabolic
And I was
steroids,
like,
I'm sure.
I remember looking at him and then looking at his dad, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, he's just like a small little
What
chubby
does that even
kid,
make
and his dad
sense?
was fucking,
Yeah.
dude, just
Oh,
beast
dude.
mode. And I was like, yo, what?
What's going on?
Yeah, and I was like, what the hell does your mom look like? Like, just. And I remember when I got to see his mom was just like this, just tiny.
Yeah,
Tiny, quiet lady.
Tiny lady.
And this dude was
probably.
just total like jock, you know? And I
Yeah,
was like,
for
man, I was
sure.
like, parents are so different from one another, and then this kid is so different from the parents, you know? And I'm like, whoa.
Well, the
Weird.
fucking the weird one is that like with a lot of that like super jacked over the top kind of guys is that like through I mean like I grew up yeah I was, like that's exactly what I was getting to like
Yeah.
through growing up with like not liking my body just from like yo can you stop growing or can you stop getting fat and then I'd grow like because my whole shit was like basically I was a normal size till about grade 7 like I had my homie who like we were the same height, same weight, same shoe size, the whole thing.
Oh shit, eh?
Yeah, like literally like fucking the whole fucking 9 until grade
Did you
7.
guys share clothes like crisscross style?
Fucking backwards,
backwards
fucking
and shit,
clothes.
yeah.
I did do backwards clothes in fucking grade 1
Really?
and 3 a bit. You know, well, little time to time. You had to do
Yeah.
it. The cool kid at
Man, you gotta
school
spice
did
it
it,
up.
and you're like, damn, fucking, he's bold enough to do it. I do love crisscross, so
Yeah.
fucking, I'm gonna have to do that shit. But oh fuck, what was I talking about?
Homie, you and
Oh,
homie
yeah.
were same size.
Yeah, we're same size.
Yeah.
And then total fucking space case. Still waking up, y'all. I got my coffee in hand here.
Yeah. It's all good. I
So
still,
we were,
still like you, don't worry.
Yeah, we were fucking same size. But then after grade 7, my body started. I'd fill out. I'd get really fat,
Out, then up.
and then up, and then out, and then up, and then out. Like literally, there was one year that I think I grew 3 and just about 3 inches, and the doctor was like,
In elementary school or high school?
that was in
High school,
in
probably.
high school, I
Yeah.
think. And my doctor was like, "You're
You're-
not supposed to grow that fast."
Your bones can't handle that.
Like I
Yeah.
used to get growing pains so bad that I didn't like. I thought I was having a heart attack at like fucking 12 or 13. Like I would literally get chest pains so bad
Damn.
that I would fall over and have to support myself against the wall, and like sometimes almost even fall over from there because it was just
Damn.
like my
I
body
only-
was just like.
I only ever had wones. I remember my shins.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I would get them here and man, rarely here. Like
Yeah,
I would never
yeah.
had it any upper body or nothing. It was
For me,
always
it was,
my
it was
legs.
like my heart, where it was just like shit. We have to now work that hard, like
That's fucked.
and then it's just like fucking just
I mean,
everything.
chest pains in high school.
Dude,
That's
I'm like,
fucked.
what the fuck, man? Like, so like
Yeah.
those are the only reasons why like I ended up like hating my fucking body, because it was like, yo, can you just
do it evenly.
yeah, or
Just
be like a at least functioning level of normal where I'm not like in crazy amounts of pain just because I'm growing
just do like
so
a little
fast.
bit at a time.
Yeah,
right?
no shit.
Not all at
man,
once.
but like you just fucking so like going through that, and then like I and then fucking there was a bunch of fucking like heavy ass injuries from like my fucking up my hip to breaking my ankle at school, and then like just all these other things that led me to gain even more weight, right? So then through the journey of trying to get back to like a decent level was just like hating myself and who I was and like what my body was kind of thing, that like the more research I did into it to the point where I finally became fit again, I wasn't seeing it as like me hating myself, more as to like, yo, I just need to be able to do this to live. But then I would still see the insight from looking back into it that these
When-
bodybuilder guys
Yeah.
had just as much body dysmorphia, if not more, than myself or somebody that was bulimic.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
yeah.
like you'd look into interviews with these guys that are like super jacked and they
there's all levels to it,
fucking
right?
hate themselves so much. Like they think they're skinny, or some of the guys think they're fat, so they just keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
And people that do like plastic surgeries and stuff have that.
Oh
It's
god,
crazy
yeah.
when they like Bill Burr, right? He's like, just don't fuck with your face,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, when
it's
somebody
like-
fucking, anytime somebody brings up fucking what's the face stuff again?
Botox.
I'm just like,
Dude, there's like crazy like horror story photos and shit.
like fucking Rogan's
Oh.
bit about all that stuff was the best. Where he's like, fake tits, sure, you can fool us with those. Like that's no big deal. Like all this other stuff, but like Botox, show us one good example where it hasn't gone awry. Like show us one.
Dude, I remember a friend showed me. Fuck, this might have been like in high school. I remember him showing me this video clip of this lady in, God, where was it? I feel like it was like Singapore or something. It was somewhere really random, and this lady was like doing it herself.
Yeah.
It was like not real Botox.
No.
It was like something else.
Dude, there's some fucked
And
up
it,
stories
like,
about that shit.
I guess it was working at first, and then it just like fucked up,
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
her
yeah.
face ballooned, like her whole face
Yeah,
ballooned
bro.
out and sagged, and like, oh my god, it was insane. It was
She
like,
turned into the guy from the Goonies.
dude, worse.
Yeah.
It was like
The
I remember
melting
watching it and
face
just
from
being like,
fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark.
dude. Right? He's like drinking from the wrong goblet.
Oh man, like you there's some fuck like, well, I mean, there's some really gross ones, but like to the point where like
Fuck.
these guys that inject saline into their fucking like their arms or muscle
Oh, yeah,
areas to
and
make
then
it look like they have
sags
muscles.
after.
And I don't know. Yeah, it of course is gonna sag. You need muscle to hold that shit up. But they just like have these random like Popeye looking
yeah.
muscles where they're just like,
Dude, holy shit. Have you seen those things where people they inject shit like in their forehead? It's like that donut thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, dude. I dated a girl for a minute that had an implant in her hand that was a fucking like I don't know if it was PVC, but it was obviously something sterile.
Yeah.
It's a sterile piece of metal or something.
Mm.
There was a star inlaid underneath her hand that was
Holy
raised up
shit.
about like a fucking like almost a centimeter. It creeped me out, man. So like
That
if-
big?
Yeah, like that big. So if you touched her hand, it was like it
Holy shit.
was fucking weird, man.
That's fucked.
It creeped me out, but it was like one of those things when when you're uncomfortable, but like you need to get over that uncomfortable, so you just like hop in.
Yeah.
Like I would just like randomly like stroke her hand. I was like, oh, this is so fucked. But then like I would just try to become okay with it. Like, but it was just like
What other ones do people do? I've seen they do like the
Dude,
the horns. They
the
do
lip
like
disc thing now, where they're starting to do this one. Or no, sorry, the one up here. They do like, you know how some people just have a piercing here.
yeah.
Now they start stretching a hole
Whoa.
in here, and it's fucked up, man.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, I'm one to say shit's weird, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, it's just
But, like,
funny that we get this
A
like.
hole there.
But the fucked up part about it is you have to have a top hat piercing, so there's like a flat piece at the back that rests against your gums.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And then it
'cause,
has
like,
a piece like that goes through it. So, but it actually in turn is going to slowly wear away the top part of your gums, and it's actually really bad for you.
I feel like your teeth would just cave in.
If anybody
over a
ever
while.
watched this that like had one of those, it's not bad for you, fuck you. You know what? Send me some fucking photos of your gums before and after, 5 years apart.
Right.
And on that note, do whatever the fuck you want to do, because I got fucking dreadlocks down past my ass and like ears bigger than fucking like any coin that you can find in your wallet. So, but it's just funny that like we can still like, as far as you go into like weird things that might be like, odd towards like culture or something like that, you can still just be caught off guard by something and be like, whoa,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that?
Yeah, you were saying the lip things, but think about, right, like those tribes where they have like the
Yeah.
crazy lip discs, or they do the rings on the neck.
Yeah. I don't know if it's fully true, but apparently the neck ring one was the reason you only see that on females was that was a way of actually protecting them from wild cats and a thing that go straight for your neck. Because if they fucking build up this thing of rings, it's gonna be a layer of protection from a fucking tiger or fucking, I guess, yeah, it'd be tigers out in the fucking wild out there. That fucking anything with a predatory cat, even my cats, if they went after a mouse, the first thing they would do is just right to the neck.
the windpipe, right?
It's just instinct, because they actually have nerve endings in their teeth that can sense, like,
The
that's
pulse?
what,
Like,
yeah. That's why when you see a fucking tiger or something bite onto a deer, they regrip a bunch because they're trying to find the main vein.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so they can sense the fucking heartbeat through their teeth, and they're like, no, I need to regrip.
Yeah. I need to hold it. He's not done yet.
And then they're like, okay, he's dead.
Yeah.
Cats are so fucking crazy, man.
Fuck, I was gonna bring something else up.
What are we going on about? We're yammering about all sorts of shit.
Yeah, the neck rings.
Yeah, the neck rings, lip discs.
Lip disc, and there's another one. Oh, dude, scarification.
Yeah.
Yo,
That shit's fucking. That one freaks me out.
Yeah, that one's
like,
crazy.
I have all sorts of, like, my knees are just scars, like
Yeah.
just to the point where I have them, like, I cut my finger open there, I cut my finger open there. Like, I've needed stitches. Like, I've got cuts and scars
It's crazy
all
the
over my
amount
body
that you accumulate.
Yeah. And then some people are just like,
but like,
do it to me, baby.
I remember watching like a National Geographic thing where they were talking about, I think it was like this tattoo thing I had where they talked about like taboo things where people in like Western societies would do something, and then they would show you the extreme where like tribes would do it, and scarification was one of them, where
they do some crazy shit.
Man, they had footage of this. It was like an initiation thing for boys when they become men.
I'm wondering if you're gonna keep going. Yeah,
right?
I think I know what you're talking about.
They had footage of them doing it to this kid, and
he's like 10 years old or some shit, right?
Super young, man. And they would have them like, they would take them like underneath a tree, basically, and then they would have these like big leaves, and they would just start cutting. Like, they would do their whole face, like their whole head and like chest and stuff. But they just do like, they would file down like stones, like arrowhead style, and they would just do little cuts, and then until like the whole face is done. And they're just, you see the amount of blood that's pouring out, and they're rubbing like, you know, like paste and stuff on it afterwards to try and clean it. And like, but you're just like, it's so hard to watch because this kid is so young, and he's just like,
in so much pain,
just squirming, dude. And you're like, yo, like, fuck, it's pretty crazy. And then they also, I remember another one, what they do with the women is they would pull all their hair out. Yeah, so they would have like, you know, like the elderly person, and then the kid would sit in front of them like this, and they would sit over them like, you know, like monkeys would pick out like bugs, right? And they would just one by one, like, and they were saying it would take like 6 hours or 8 hours, and this you know, little girl would have to sit there and just sometimes they would have multiple women doing it from different sides, just and hair by hair. They would pull out all of their hair. They're
freaking cutting them, pulling out their hair and cutting up their faces and stuff like that. And here in Western society, we just take babies and chop their fucking foreskin off.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like, again, it's that fucking thing where like, this is normal for us. Chop the baby dickheads off. And then they're fucking doing this for some war shit.
For the same reason.
You know,
right?
exactly. It's just beautification, tradition. Nobody questions it at a certain point.
It's just what we do here.
It's the way she fucking goes, man.
Yeah.
You know, but like, it's just...
But like, imagine being that kid, right? And it's like, you're not a baby.
No.
So...
Of course, that's your fucking initiation to manhood. Because like...
You know that day is coming. So imagine you're like, the day before, you're like...
How are you ever gonna feel like a fucking kid?
you're like, yo, man, like
for real,
fuck
though.
it, I'm gonna run away tomorrow. Like, I can't go through with this.
You know what I mean, though? Like, how are you ever actually gonna feel like a fucking kid again after you've just been fucking,
dude,
like, essentially like
mutilated?
Yeah, dude. Like,
right?
Like,
it's crazy.
That's so fucked up. But again, that's just works its way and somehow becomes tradition, and then it doesn't get, you know. It's very hard to break tradition sometimes.
Yeah, and then so they would go through like, you know, extremes like that. But then they would show tattoos.
Yep.
Right, where tribes would have certain tattoos to represent. You'd see like it would be a certain mark.
Yeah.
Right. So you'd be like, oh shit, that guy's from like that tribe. You can tell from like.
Yeah. Like
I forget this one, but they had like these type of like. Almost like daisies or something on their shoulders.
Right.
So it would be on, because they would never have shirts on, right? So you would see them as soon as they would approach you. Boom! It's like you would see it right away. Yeah, and then like the traditional tattoos where they would tap them, right?
Yeah. Which fucking like that's great. Like it's cool to see that there's still
And
some
that's
people
where the
keeping that alive.
the
today.
word tattoo comes from.
Yeah,
right?
it's tap.
The sound that would make. Yeah.
I was trying to fucking think of it. I remember they had a guy that explained it. It was fucking. I know it's just like the onomatopoeia of like explaining like what the sound is, but fucking I'm trying to fucking remember. The guy had the fucking. Hey Rogan, can you fucking stop doing that? Hey, you goof. My cat's just like in the background, just like smacking the shit out of the fucking dryer, just like hey. Like, seriously, you goof. Fucking cats, man. He's just like every time we start the podcast up, he's just like just causing some kind of ruckus.
Never played with this before.
Yeah, it's like, hey, pay attention to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so crazy that like even the scarification kind of stuff, like different tribes would still be doing scarification, but like just the way that they fucking like this one tribe would have 10 fucking lines across their head. Or this other tribe would have fucking like, you know, like it's the same thing.
Pattern or
exactly the
something.
same pattern that it could be recognized for like while you're approaching a person.
Yeah, right away.
You just be like, you know, do I fucks with this person?
Exactly.
You know,
you're like, oh shit, that's.
Do I have to fucking run?
Yeah.
Do I have to fight? You know, do I get a hug?
Real.
You know,
Do I
like,
get a hug?
yeah, it's crazy, man. Fucking like, and just seeing like where, like how far that it's going right now. You know what I mean? Like the tattooing one is always so interesting to me because like when I was younger, like even if you had a tattoo this big, you were a badass. Like tattoos were like
no go.
So like I got my first tattoo at 18 and that was crazy. Like people were like, oh my god, you got a tattoo. Like,
yeah, I think I was 18 too and I got my first
yeah.
one.
And I did the fucking like
10 years
smack
ago.
dab right in the fucking middle of the arm. Like I did this fucking like Black Label Society skull in the middle of an iron cross and shit with like the letters in it for strength, determination, merciless forever. And like sick. Love the tattoo. But it was like so dumb where I did it right here.
There.
Yeah, right here.
So not even like.
Not even up here. Not even down here. Not something that can be worked around. Right here. So it's just like when it came time to like do a sleeve, I was like.
You didn't cover up, did you?
Yeah, I covered it up.
Oh, you did?
So now the skull is actually the man in the moon.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's actually, it kind of got worked in a bit,
Right.
but covered up the cross and then the skull, like I say, became the man in the moon, which actually like worked itself out. But
Right.
it was just so funny that like I remember getting that at the time. Like I had a skull with an iron cross in the middle of my arm.
And like
it was
when
like, I was in school still too, and like everybody's like, whoa, like what the fuck? Like, and then now like fucking like kids start with face tattoos.
Dude, yeah, it's fucked.
You know, like
you see people like I remember seeing like a Telus commercial and the chick had a fucking sleeve.
Yeah.
Like maybe 2 years ago. And I was like, you start seeing it's like more and more accepted. Or you go into Apple like the store and you see people with stretched out ears or fucking crazy tattoos or like face piercings and shit, right?
For sure.
Which I don't care, like fuck yeah, but for like a big company, right?
Yeah,
and you're
like,
dude,
that shit was crazy back in the day. Like I had pierced ears since I was 15 years old in both years.
Did you do it yourself?
No. I went to the fucking store. I wanted my ears pierced since I was a kid. Like fucking, it was just like from all like the badasses in movies and like,
I did too, but
I was a big Michael
never
Jackson fan. Like when I was a kid, the long hair, pierced ears look, and like I don't know, I just always fucking loved it. And it was it was never the one. I always wanted both.
Both, yeah.
And it was like. So my mom like tells like 8-year-old me or whatever, however old I was when I first wanted them. She's like, well, I had to wait till I was 15. So when you turn 15,
Classic.
you can get your ears pierced. Thinking that like that was going to be like, oh, like he'll forget in a year.
Yeah.
So as soon as I turned 15, I was like, let's go get my ears pierced. Mom was like, what? And I was like, yeah, let's go.
Did I say 15? I meant 25.
So she was actually kind of like on board. She was like, all right, whatever. And we did it. And like, went to like the jewelry store and they did it like the terrible way with the gun, like that you're supposed to go get it done with an actual piercing needle,
Right.
like
Yeah,
those piercing guns that like they literally
that
put
you used to like tag fucking t-shirt tags. and
yeah,
shit
that's
with.
literally exactly
Yeah, I
what it
imagine
is.
that's what it was.
And then so the crazy thing is they pierce your ear with the stud.
at the same time it goes
Yeah.
through.
So like no, like the stud is the needle that pierces, then it has the clip on the back. So they go clink and they pull it away and it's like they literally just priced your ear.
Yeah, it's like they riveted your ear.
And so they did the right one fucking lower than the left one.
Shut up.
Yeah, and it wasn't perfectly straight. Not by enough, not by a lot, but enough to piss me off. Right?
Enough that when you'd look in the mirror,
Yeah,
you'd be
yeah.
like,
And so then this year, like, so they said that like when it came time to actually stretch my ears, like the internet said, I should say, that like I wasn't going to be able to do it because I was pierced with a gun, because there's like more scar tissue in your ear, because that's just like this heavy impact, like yo, Flesh, what up? Whap!
yo, Flesh, what up? Deal with this.
Yeah, exactly. And then like fucking, but yeah, so it was a little more difficult at the beginning, but it was just like, yeah, just an interesting thing, like how that's just such a normal thing. Like getting your ears pierced has been around for fucking ever, but then like tattooing just over the last decade, really 2 decades, to be honest now, like fucking time fucking flies. But yeah, over the last 2 decades, it's become the norm, essentially. I mean, it's kind of like
there's still like a low population.
Yeah.
The population has it, but it's more accepted.
Well, it blew up and it became like with like the like LA Inc. and like the whole fucking Kat Von D movement and shit like that brought a lot of the stuff into the limelight. Hang on a second, I gotta grab this fucking, my cat's eating a goddamn rubber band.
It's like, where do you find that? So funny. But yeah, like it's not that it makes it more popular, but when people see more of something,
it was like the Tony Hawk effect.
Yeah.
Where it became the
More
cool thing to
accepted.
do for a minute.
Yeah.
Like for like probably 5 years, people were just like getting tatted up because it was like cool, right?
Yeah.
And then it slows back down again and kind of becomes just like an accepted thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like the fucking, like I said, the Tony Hawk blow up. It's like how many people did it because it was the cool thing to do. It's where mall grabs became the fucking like the thing, right?
Yeah.
Everybody mall grabbing on the way to school and shit, and just standing out front while other people were skating.
And the kids that would go to the skate park and just stand. Right?
Yeah. And then after that dies down, you get the people that stick around, right?
Yeah.
So
you get the diehards.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. That's been an interesting one to watch the difference of it, because like I've even kind of seen like the downfall of it again, where like I'm starting to almost get like weird looks again for being heavily tattooed. Whereas like I remember even when I was working retail, I got my fucking hands tattooed when I was working retail. And I was just like, fine, whatever.
What did your boss say? Did you show up with them done? Did you tell him?
Yeah, I told him I was gonna go get it done. Yeah, because I didn't do both of them at once, because that would have been death. Fucking.
Did he say anything about it? Or what did he say about it?
It was at such a point where it was like,
you need me, dude. Like,
what was that?
yeah,
But then it was also, it was when I was working at the music store.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was just basically like I was already sleeved up. I have lots of tattoos. I had fucking dreadlocks, stretched ears. Like, at what point does it get like, oh, that's too much? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, you can't really, like, once you know a person, you know what I mean? You can't. It's like, oh, dude, if you add one more thing, like that's, oh, whoa,
Yeah.
like. Scale it back. You know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
At what point did I cross this line?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
for
So
sure.
it just kind of became one of those things where like I was always kind of like
It's like, crazy Curt.
the habitual line stepper, if you will, right?
Yeah.
To the point where like I remember for a fucking while, just because like I didn't give a fuck. I was wearing like a pink polka dot scrunchie in my hair that was like fucking straight up in the air like a pineapple, because it was like short dreadlocks and shit. Like I don't give a fuck. Like, if I want to do something, I'm gonna fucking do it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting to the point when after that I was working in real estate advertising, covered in tattoos. But it's all about how you hold yourself. You know what I mean? Like I'd get like, you know, like that, like maybe like that, like few seconds of like me walking out of the car, them thinking, am I about to get jumped? You know what I mean? And then like to like, hey, how you doing? Like, blah, blah, blah. And like me like opening my mouth and they're just like, oh
shit.
eloquent. Yeah. Like, you know.
Eloquent.
Where it's just like, you know, it's all based on how you fucking hold yourself.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, to nowadays, I can see the guy that's like literally just looks like a piece of shit wearing a suit. Like you can see him on the weekend doing like fucking mad lines of coke and getting drunk as fuck and like spending his last pennies and like putting on his suit because it's his only like decent thing, and then like, now I'm a businessman, and you're like, no. I mean, you're a businessman, but you're
facade.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, I don't know. It's like seeing the fucking older person when you can blatantly see that just like them as a baby, or you know what I mean, or like them as like the 5-year-old kid.
Yeah,
like, nothing's changed.
Yeah, with the tattoo stuff, not only do I just like tattoos, and I always have.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, likewise.
And I remember even as a kid, I would always tell my parents like, "Oh, I'm gonna get tattoos." Like, just
Did you do like the temporaries and shit when you were a kid?
the temporaries, yeah. And I would draw on myself. I would always like draw on myself too. I just like.
I would always draw on my fucking thighs, because then it was like, I was always wearing shorts, and then like I could kind of like cover it up and like work on my drawing on myself skills. It was.
I'd always do the arms. Like I just liked.
Yeah.
I just liked it. I can't even really think back to like what sparked it even.
No, but it was always in media and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it was like they would use it to like portray certain characters.
Yeah, and it was like I just like I said, I can't explain why I liked it.
Well, it's just it's the same thing with like me or pierced ears. I don't remember what it was, but you see it when you're young and you start seeing more of it and you go, oh, that looks awesome.
Yeah. And when we were young, it was like the people that had it were like, you know, like the criminals or
it was usually criminals and degenerates.
So it wasn't like someone that was like someone to look up to that had them. So
not at all.
It's weird that you would be like, yo, I want that, right?
Fucking like when Otto showing off his new tattoo in The Simpsons and shit. You're like, oh shit.
Oh shit, badass, right?
Yeah.
But
Snake's got his like one fucking tattoo in the middle of his arm and shit.
Oh yeah, and his shitty fucking mustache. But yeah, I really like the whole experience of getting tattoos. Awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Like going in, sitting down, like once you have what you want, sitting down with your artist, figuring out, coming back, they have the stencil, like them putting it on, like the smell of a tattoo shop, like the sounds of the needles going when there's other people being worked on. You know, they shave the spot, they put the stencil on, like the smell of the solution that they use, just like the whole experience and getting it done, and when it's cleaned, and then they wrap it, and then
one of my favorite parts
is
like the mind games you have to play while you're getting it done.
To distract yourself.
Yeah. And just go deep in your brain, and you're like, all right, fine. I don't feel nothing. Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, you're like, it only hurts if I pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Like the amount of time when it's like, you always reach that point. Like if you get like a bigger piece done.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have my chest and up on my shoulder done. And that one took like maybe 12 hours. I did a couple sessions, so it's like when you're sitting for like 5 hours,
that's the point
you're
of
like
no return.
At the beginning is like when you're like, okay, like what's up? You see, like you're really interactive. Like at least I was with my artist, and you try to distract yourself. And then there reaches a point where you're just like both of you go silent because he needs to focus or she needs to focus on tattooing you, and you just like you run out of shit to distract yourself with, and you're just like. You go silent and you're just trying to think of shit to distract you because you're like it starts to hurt, you know. Like
me and fucking Caleb had hit a zone when like we were doing it where it was like we wouldn't even communicate while it was going on because I would go so far into my own world and he'd go so far into his own world. And
everyone's different too. I've seen people where like the people getting tattooed or have headphones in, or the artist tattooing you has headphones in because they're just like don't bother me, I need to focus.
Like helped me so much was just like, I mean I can find a way anyway, but where I was at was that it was an all concrete building, and the roof you could see the lines of the grain of wood from the piece of plywood that was used to frame the building still indented in the concrete. So I just literally
you would just be like analyzing.
I just follow the fucking grain, the entire fucking piece of plywood. You know how long it took me to do that for one sheet of plywood? I'd have to start over again all the time. And it was just like I would just do that shit, and then like.
But you're like anything, dude. You're like,
Yeah,
how many
yeah.
times do you look at the same thing? Or,
Yeah. To the other one that was just like the big one was when I could like really like learn to start building scenarios in my head of like places that like my favorite places that I went as a kid or something like that, where I'm literally just like, okay, I'm gonna recreate this place in my head,
like walking
down
like,
to the
through.
smells, to the dew kicking up off of the uncut grass or off of my shoes, to the fucking, you know what I mean, the sounds, the smells, every little fixture, every little fucking thing. Yeah, and it would take me like half hour to like create the scene in my head, and then like next thing you know, like I'm just so far immersed in my memories and shit that like, what are you doing? Oh, you're tattooing my fucking sternum. Oh, okay, cool. You know, like, yeah, it's so
whatever works for you, though. You know.
Yeah, and it's crazy because that had such a big impact on like just like what pain was for the rest of my life. Even so, like when I fucked up my hip at your fucking old house, to the point where it's held together by a 6.5-inch screw now, that was the most painful thing I guarantee you I will ever experience in my entire life, besides death.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, unless you
and
go while you're sleeping or something.
Yeah. Fucking, and like that point from then on, has anything like really hurt? Or like, have I been able to register the same?
That's your measuring stick of pain.
Yeah, I've never been able to register something
as painful
the same.
as that. Yeah,
like to the point now where I can like literally like this has happened many times. My old place, fucking, there was like this stupid pillar in the middle of the bathroom, and like I broke my
downstairs.
pinky toe on that pillar so many times that like
broke it multiple times.
Multiple.
Jesus.
The first time.
The pinky toe is so small too. Like
the first time I was drunk and I was walking in, and it was like the bathroom had just been remodeled, and I go, wham! I kick it on the way in. Oh, fuck! And it just like instantly break my toe, like if not just like heavily bruised, but we'll say break because it's fucking.
Where you just lay down and you're like just shocked.
Well, I'm like, oh fuck! So then I go take my piss. I'm just like cocksucker. Okay, fuck. Stumbling back out from the same bathroom trip, wham! I kick it with my left, break my left pinky toe. I broke both back in one trip.
Oh god!
Broke the right on the way in, broke the left on the way out. Wake up in the morning and I just have these purple, black, and yellow fucking
your pinky
toes.
Toes just like your foot's like this. Your pinky toes just out,
dude.
Like,
if I show you my pinky toes, they're like just like this.
Just fuck.
Like they're just like because I fucking smashed them on shit so many times, and then to the point where now, like I say, I had that reference for pain. Like I remember a couple times when I'd do it, where like I'd clearly like heavily bruise it or something, or I just kick it to the point where it rips open the skin, like I'm bleeding, and then it goes black, purple, and like, and I just like I go like this now, like I kick it, and then it's just like the tattoo reaction where I'm like. I just breathe. I'm just like,
yeah.
You're
like sick, sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like I know that like it was literally the same thing when I'm getting tattooed. Like if I was to go, fuck, like that. Literally,
you can't dwell on it. Right?
Yeah, that's not gonna make any difference or make me feel any better than if I went. Okay.
And something like that like happens. It used to happen like super often to me too. Like I've never broken it, but like stubbing your toes. Because I remember being a kid when you would just play outside, like with the kids in your cul-de-sac and shit. And I remember just running around barefoot like all summer, dude,
your
for
toes
years.
Drag underneath or something.
And like, you would, exactly. You would get caught under just from running, or like on the curbs, like the amount of time
rash on the top of your feet knuckles.
And the amount of times I would stub my toe on curbs.
Yeah.
And like you're like, oh fuck, but it would happen so much that you'd sit like exactly like you said. You're just like, you're like, okay.
Well, I get that one now. Like even like if you hit your head on some shit or something, you know, when you hit your head on the corner of like an open cupboard or some shit, and it's like you touch it and it's like lightly bleeding, and you're just like,
you just push down on it. You're like, ow.
Yeah. But it's just funny. Just like. you start to know that like the reactionary fucking thing,
and it's
isn't
always the
actually gonna-
initial hit. You're like, ow, and then you're like, oh, but wait for it. Like 5 seconds in, it's gonna hurt the most.
Yeah, this like
you know?
crazy like metallic sting where like fucking the iron is in your blood is slowly leaving your body, and you're just like, oh, I hate this. Fuck, man.
That
Yeah,
was like
pain's a bitch.
skateboarding and like getting shinned with your board. Like,
Oh,
dude, it's so like to the point where my shins are like jagged, like a bread knife. Like I swear to God, you
that's
run
me
your
from fucking riding a bike and you
right?
get shinner with the pedals.
dude. You run your finger like you press down hard, run your finger. You can, yeah, it's almost like that. You can feel it. It's fucked.
Mine's 100% like that.
Like
Because I rode these snafu pedals that had, instead of having like the little like knobs for your feet, they had replaceable Allen bolts, so you could like,
oh shit,
yeah. So like there was whatever 15 little Allen bolts on these things. So when you slipped a pedal, they'd go, thunk, and it would stick into your
because
shin.
it would spin up and then.
And then full force in your thing after you're like going down something too, and to the point where I had to pull my pedals out of my shins.
Oh,
like I probably still have all little tiny white dot scars all over my shins and shit, and you're just like, oh, fucking. But like, yeah, man, that type of pain. I saw a
teaches
video.
you a lot though.
Oh, dude, doesn't it?
It makes you like mentally,
Yeah.
tough, man.
I saw a video that like, I'm trying to remember what it was from, but it explained the feeling the best, where it was like a guy bailed, and like, you know how like the typical person's reaction is to run up and go, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
You just hurt you just bailed on your skateboard. Are you fine? Like, and then the skateboarder or whoever just bailed just literally needs 5 seconds by themselves to go,
Try and get up, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Doing like those
but like,
type of sports, those like action sports where like you fucking eat shit and you get really hurt.
Yeah.
Like it really toughens you up where we're like normal people. Like, you ever seen that clip? For sure you've watched it, where it's that like live news broadcast and it's like this lady like making wine.
Yes, of course.
In that thing, and then she falls off of like,
the noise is amazing.
and she starts crying like a baby, like literally,
it's
right?
like almost the wind knocked out
because
of her.
you're like, you've never fallen like that before, so it's like you just
exactly, and that's that
you know
reaction
what I mean?
to what I was saying to the guy on the ground. Whereas like I saw one where the guy like freaked out at the lady. He's like, "Fucking leave me alone!" Like I literally just need like 5 seconds to myself and I'll be fine. But you doing this, oh my God, are you okay? It's now making me think about it. And it's like, no, like fuck off. You don't understand that this is like actually like making the situation worse. You're like, oh my God.
Because you get used to it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you tuck and roll out of shit.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You're like, oh fuck. You're like, well, sometimes like, it sounds funny to say, but sometimes like after eating shit, I would be like hyped because I'm like,
yeah.
Fuck, okay, I got it out of the way.
Well, because you know
what I mean?
what the worst can be.
You're like, fuck, that sucked. But
or
you're
like your fears come true, so you're kind of like, okay, got that out of the way,
right? Because so much of it is like the mental, like with skateboarding, is like you're just where you try
visual.
Something and you're like, you don't know how it's gonna turn out, and you're just like, okay, hopefully I land it. You know what I mean? So like if something goes crazy wrong, you eat shit, like the worst thing, you slip out, like smack your face or some fucked up fall, right? And you're like, okay, like it's out of the way now.
And I always remember like,
it's like what you were afraid was gonna happen just happened, and so now you're like, you're good.
I was remembering like BMXing, which obviously is it correlates the same, but it's like you would line up something and then you'd have like some form of negative thought in your head, like, man, what if I hit this part and I bail, and then that happens, and then you're like, okay, so I hit that part and I bailed, so now I know not to do that.
Yeah.
So then you're like, you say, you're almost more stoked because you now know what not to do.
Yeah.
And so now it's like the variables of like the possibility are much smaller.
Like,
so
the mental game with it, where it's like you psych yourself out.
Yeah.
Where like you roll up to shit and you're like, oh, what if I hit a rock right before I pop, or like what if I don't pop high enough, those little things that just like they totally fuck like with your.
It can fucking and that shit snowballs so fast to where all of a sudden it could just be like,
and you're like,
you
fuck
are
it.
just ready to do it,
and
then all of a sudden like there's so many little random things that just start snowball that you're like almost overwhelmed that you don't want to do it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you like have to break through that, and like, Man,
the
mind games.
mental game. It's
dude, it's insane.
yeah, it can break you. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, that's why you get the OCD skaters that are fucking like, you good.
Yeah. You start tapping things, or you have like your
like fucking whistling at people, just like every little weird thing.
because
like,
it's like you land something, you're like, oh, I remember I did this before, and
yeah,
it
I spun
becomes
my
like
board around
this
3 times,
superstitious thing that
tapped
you do.
it, and then I pointed at this guy, and
You're
okay,
like, as long as I do things this way, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna fucking eat shit, or like I'll land it, or it just like it gets you through like the negative, and you're like, I'm just gonna try it.
it's the
and do
person
it.
wearing their lucky shirt or whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're just like, it gets going so far,
And it builds.
It's not the fact that this guy's been skating his entire fucking life and he's been doing all these big bangers, and therefore the next bangers can become easy. It was all those little spin tricks and little tippy taps and hey, you good, and like, because that's like, you know, the person gets so caught up and like,
And with skateboarding, so many people, like OCD is so common because literally of that.
Yeah.
It's like you build it up in your head.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to do things like the superstitious way, do those things before you can try it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking ritual, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a good word for it. The ritual. Yeah.
Because it just like, if you can't complete that whole thing, then you don't have the full like,
It's like the confidence,
the full energy to get it done.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, no, that's just part of the situation.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool though, man.
Yeah, I used to do it with like spinning my board, like between your hand.
Yeah,
or, like,
yeah.
And like I got into like the knocking shit because I was like telling you how I have like this thing with even numbers.
For sure, yeah.
Right. And then so I would always like I'd do these weird like knocking like sequences, and like it would get down to like where if you fucked it up, like say you're like trying to tap something like 4 times,
Yeah, you
like
almost restart.
sets of 4 or something, you fuck it up, then you gotta redo it from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you're like, I imagine like what someone watching me from the other side of the park is just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And you're just like knocking on shit, and then you fuck up, and then you're like, okay, you gotta start again, and then you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Your brain off of those other little variables.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
That
so
may have
funny.
been the like
It totally fucks with you.
that like, you know, it could have been like what your brain wanted to do that. Oh, what about this? What about that? What if I hit the little rock? But if I now occupy it with all these little things,
Yeah.
you know, you can
Then
keep
you're like,
yourself-
no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm
Just
good.
do it. Just try it. Yeah.
You're
I got
keeping
this.
your brain at bay.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just like, hey, bitch.
Distracting it.
Yeah. You want to try to fucking wheezy
Hey,
your way out of
bitch.
this? How about this? Hey, and then so you just like keep them occupied, you know, and then you're like, I'm going.
Yeah. Totally. You're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's just this weird little like, oh yeah, I'm calm now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good. Yeah,
For sure.
Fucking human brain's such a fucking interesting thing, dude. Like, just like all those little shits that it takes, like little like superstitious things that it may take for a person to get their like output, like as they saw it in their head.
Right.
You know what I mean?
right.
Because they're their own fucking barriers and boundaries. Like nobody's stopping them from doing what they're seeing inside their head.
Yeah.
Besides their own fucking head going,
Yeah.
oh, maybe no. What about this? I've told that. Heard fucking about
And I'm like,
injuries
I'm so envious of the people that like can just huck themselves
Yeah,
into
yeah.
things, because I got caught up in doing those weird little things. But it's funny, like I said, how many people have that, but it's not a taught behavior.
No.
Like it really is such a mental game that people start doing it on their own, and it's
For
not
sure.
like a cool thing to do, or it's like it
Yeah,
affects people in a certain way that people just start doing it on their own.
Dude, for sure.
It's interesting.
And like, oh man, I watched some crazy shit that like kind of went into like how fucked up the human brain is. Remember when I brought up Vsauce a little while ago?
Yeah.
Guy has a like crazy informative TV show or no, YouTube show. He started it's been out for a while now, but I just finally saw a couple episodes about it. He has a new show on YouTube, Red, which is like the paid subscription like TV shows on YouTube. You can actually pay for like quality shows that are produced for YouTube now.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. It's been around for like a couple years now, but it's just like starting to gain a bit more traction and stuff. But he has a show that's like legit filmed, like full blown, like fucking camera crew and stuff called Minefield. And he had this one where he's talking about isolation, and it starts off talking about isolation tanks
I was gonna say
and how
tanks,
it's how it's basically like separating your physical from your mind,
yeah.
and then like just like how your brain can start to play these tricks and similar things, and almost that like we're talking about with like keeping yourself occupied, whether it's these
Right.
other things, right? So there's this myth out that if you are in complete isolation from people, interaction, like games, like just complete isolation for 72 hours, you'll actually start to go insane. So his whole fucking thing was, he's like,
That short amount of time, eh?
yeah, 72 hours. Yeah. And he's like, okay, let's test this. So they build a fucking all white room that has nothing but fucking...
Is it something where it's like it's lit so you don't have darkness? It's like you're in a
lit
room
like
for
in
72
fucking bright illuminated fucking
like
lights.
7-Eleven lights.
Yeah, 7-Eleven lights, fucking 72 hours in a white room, white bed, white everything, nothing to keep himself entertained, nothing to watch, nothing to read, nothing to listen to. All that there is in there is water and, the Soylent meal replacement, and Soylent for his meals for
the
72
Matrix
hours.
Fucking
Yeah. And then like a toilet like hidden in the corner, and that's it. And fucking, and the precursor for the test is that they want to prove that the brain hates being bored so much that it'll do anything to try to keep itself occupied, which can be like, simple little games, tongue twisters, singing, like all this other kind of stuff. So that
talk to yourself.
Yeah, dude. They do this test. They bring these two guys into a room, and they have this like little device with a button on the top, and they let them know that if you push this button, you're gonna get shocked, and it's gonna hurt. Like not a little bit. It's gonna hurt. So they fucking do it. Like each guy does it just to like see what it does, to test it out, see how much it hurts, right? And they're like, oh fuck, and like they ask the guy, like he's like, yeah, like that really sucked. He's like, would you ever do that again? He's like, no, never in my life. Like that was terrible.
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Yeah, so they put him in a room by himself.
Are they being filmed?
Yeah, they're being filmed the whole time.
Okay.
But they put him in a room by himself. The guy that said he never wants it to happen again, with a table, with the machine with the button on top of it. They say you have to wait in this room for 20 minutes. And we're just
20 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not I thought this was the 72-hour thing.
No. This is the precursor to the 72-hour. So this is just some random guy. The guy who said, like, I never want that to happen again. That was terrible. Like, he is a bit flamboyant. He's like, it was the worst thing I ever had happen to me. Oh, God, never again. Never, ever. Like, he's so blatantly hated it. So he's sitting in there, and he's just sitting around, like, a minute in, minute and 30 in, and then he just starts looking over at the button. A minute and 30
That's
in.
it?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I think about 2 minutes. It only took about 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Fuck it.
Does it again.
What?
After he just fucking said he never. It was extremely painful. And so the whole test was they wanted to prove that the brain would rather be stimulated, even in a form of pain, rather than be left to its own devices and become bored. And it was 100% proven. This guy did, well, not 100%, obviously, but in this case, this guy did it in 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes. Fucking pushed the button, and so like somebody came in after like 15 minutes, and he did it again too, like at like 7-minute marker. And so they're like, "Why did you?" And he's just like,
He's like, it's fucking bored, dog.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I started thinking about it and like thinking about how much I hated this button, that I never wanted to push it.
He's like,
then,
maybe it didn't hurt that much. I had to
like,
test
how
it
much
again.
did it hurt? Yeah. And then like, and he just like hates it, and it was, but it was just so interesting that the brain would rather be stimulated, even in the form of pain, rather than be bored.
What happened with the 72-hour thing?
So that's where it gets crazy. They put him in there,
break that shit down.
and he's a super intellectual
guy or a
person.
different
No,
guy?
this is Vsauce.
Oh,
Michael
okay,
goes in, like, fucking, hey, Vsauce Michael here. Anybody that knows that would know that. That's where he starts all his videos. He's below the frame, and then he pops up, and he's like, hey, Vsauce Michael here. And so he's like one of the most talkative people. Like his whole thing was like, the reason he started his YouTube channel was apparently he would just do this anyways, would like research all the stuff and then just basically be saying it,
tell people,
and there'd be like nobody listening, so he'd be like talking to himself, like just like, oh,
that was interesting.
Yeah. So he just made a YouTube channel and then like just talked to the camera. So like as soon as he goes in, he's like walking around, he's like playing mind games, starts singing songs, starts reciting the alphabet forwards and backwards, and fucking like he's keen, his brain's sharp, he's alert. And then it starts to get fucked up when he goes to sleep for his first sleep cycle, because the lights are on. There's no proper fucking circadian fucking sleep cycle anymore, where your brain fucking gets attuned to the light, right? So
I would just like Well, I'm sure he's clothed, right?
Yeah. He's clothed.
You would just like put your shirt
No,
over
he
your
did.
head or
He puts his
something,
fucking
right?
pillow over
you'd
his
have
face.
to, yeah.
It's still fucking bright as shit, but you're like I say, your circadian rhythm gets completely thrown off, whether you're covering your face or not. It can still tell there's light out there, right? So he wakes up after I think it was like 6 hours. He got a good sleep the first night, but he thought he slept for like 10 hours.
Oh, so he doesn't have a watch or nothing?
No, there's no time.
Okay.
There's no clock. There's no
Right.
form of stimulation in any. So no frame of reference. No communication with the
Okay.
outside.
So they're just
Beside-
like, we'll open this door in 72 hours. Is
no,
it like
he
that,
has
or?
he has the ability to go out at any point in time if he wanted to. Like they don't lock him in.
Oh, but he's
right?
trying to do.
But
the
he's trying to
72.
do 72.
Okay,
and
but they'll
so-
come and get him.
Yeah,
and say,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
So this is where it gets really fucked up. Is he falls asleep and he's like, okay, so it's like, it's got to be like 10 o'clock Saturday morning, and they started the fucking the thing at like Friday night at like 10 o'clock p.m. and it's only like now Saturday at like 6 in the morning. So he's already like thinking it's 4 hours ahead.
Okay.
And then his time just starts to get more and more fucked up when every time he takes a nap or a little sleep.
Doesn't know how long.
Yeah, he'll take like a 2-hour sleep and think he slept for 6. And then like he'll wake up
It's Sunday afternoon, but it's like Saturday night.
Yeah, and then fucking he thinks he's been in there for like 60 hours and he's only been in there for like 38. Like just over halfway, and then all of his like brain games start slowing down, and then like once he's at that halfway point, you start seeing a once happy Michael, like who's like alert and all these other things, starting to get really restless and looking on edge, and his wife, who is watching along on the outside, is like legit starting like freaking out because she's like, I've like never seen him like
Whoa.
this, and she's
I
like,
want to see this.
yeah, you really need to watch it. Like,
Yeah.
and so she's like legit, like she starts fucking crying like on like the beginning of the 3rd day because he wakes up and he's like, and he's like
Looks lost.
looks fucked up. Like I got goosebumps just thinking about how fucked up he was like in the video.
Really?
He's so distraught, and he's like, surely it's time. Like it has to have been time. Has it been 72 hours? And it's only been like 48 maybe. And so then for like half a day he now thinks that at any moment they're coming, and then they're not even close.
Oh god, that must be fucking mental torture.
And
right?
he just starts breaking down. You see his body breaking down. You see his mental, like just everything's breaking down. His wife starts fucking crying as she's watching this whole thing, like almost like we need to get him out of there. Like this is fucked. And then he goes to sleep after he thinks he should have been out for like 6 hours ago, wakes up and he still has like 12 hours, like 18 hours to go or some shit. And he's like, and then now you can tell his brain's just like fucked.
He's like, did they forget about me?
And so
Like,
he gets up and walks towards the door, and he's like, and everybody on the outside's like, oh fuck, because they're like here's the entrance thing. They're at like a computer just around the side right here.
yeah.
And then he reaches for the door again and opens the fucking door. It's only been like 50 hours or some shit. And then like opens it like this much and kind of like looks out, but it's because he's in such bright area, all he can
Can't
see is
see.
darkness outside.
Yeah.
And then like he's like closes the door again and then just like goes and curls up in the fetal position on the bed and is just like,
What?
I don't know what, like he just
loses
losing it. Losing it, dude. Trying to recite his fucking alphabet backwards, and he's stammering, and like, and then eventually it gets to the point when when they knock on the door, he fucking like freaks out, and like, because he's in another world.
Yeah.
That when that knock on the door comes, you literally see him
So-
like come back to reality, and he's like almost like goes like against the wall, and is like, is it time? Like, and he's just all freaked out, and then seeing him come out, and then yeah, like it just goes from there where like you see the adrenaline rush come back out,
And he
like
sees people,
and you see the brain start like hyperactively firing again and shit like that, and it was just like it was so crazy, man. Just like the beauty of isolation. Just
How
like,
is this on his channel?
yeah, it's a 30-minute show. Yeah.
Is this on the paid one? Or
No, they give you free episodes here and there, and so that was like one of the free episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So on his like normal channel.
Yeah. All of the stuff's on his actual channel,
okay.
but then they'll just be like if you click on it, it'll only give you like a minute and a half preview of the episode. Then it'll be like $2.49 to buy the episode or some shit. And then they give you like a couple free episodes. I've watched all the free ones, and fucking, it's such a good show. Oh my god, dude! They have one where he goes, I don't know. I don't think I'll pay the $250, but I'm tempted to. Where he goes out into the fucking goes out into like the forest and does ayahuasca with a shaman.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Like out in the
That's
forest
intense.
with the guys singing the fucking chants and shit, like in
Violently throwing up and then just having the most intense
and they film the whole thing.
trip. Yeah.
But it's from his perspective as a fucking like scientific, like, you know, let's try this out.
Yeah.
Okay, so they say you're gonna go crazy after 72 hours. Okay, let's build an isolation room. Like, so fucking
That's
crazy,
nuts.
dude. And like to see the people that like his fucking wife. Nobody knows him better than his wife, and she's like, after like 2 days, like I've never seen him like this. Like, can we? Like, she's breaking down watching her husband like go through this shit, and it was crazy, man.
Yeah.
So cool though, like to see that somebody's like that intrigued that they're like, all right, yeah, I'll just put myself through it. Fuck it.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like he didn't expect that to happen.
No, not at all. I don't think he expected to go like that. And yeah, it was interesting. So like, then they do like biomarkers before and after and stuff like that, as well as like a mental test. And surprisingly, in certain areas on the cognitive test, he actually did better afterwards. But they think it was because of the rush of adrenaline and everything that hit him as soon as he came out.
Yeah.
That
the
his
lack
brain,
of it, and then
that his brain just like turbocharged. It was just like, oh my god, we got out of here. Like,
right.
but yeah, that shit was so cool. I'm trying to remember what was the other one that's free.
So he does a few different like psych tests, sort of.
Yeah,
like
and they're all just based around like other random things like that are just intriguing as fuck. But yeah, the isolation one's free, and then there's another one that's free as well. I forget, but fucking Vsauce Minefield, man, that shit's so good. Fucking crazy.
Get comfy there.
Which fucking brings me another note. I need to get back. Have you ever fucking been floating?
No, dude, I've wanted to for a couple years.
That's one thing I was gonna bring up, because I want to go. I want to get back into floating. So fucking.
Oh, so you've done it?
Oh, dude, I used to do it fucking like every other week.
Really?
Yeah. For like.
How many times have you gone?
I've gone because I did it for probably like 7 or 8 times at least, because I did it for a couple months, 2-3 months, like every other week.
I've literally like been talking about it for years.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
wanting to do
Well,
it.
fucking, we'll do it, and like, because I've been wanting to do it again, and then like vlog the whole thing, and be like, yo, this has been such an integral part of my like growth.
And then do you like? Is it an hour, half hour? How long?
It's an hour and a half.
Oh, an hour and a half.
But like the half hour is
Not
kind of
normally
like
that long, is it?
It's usually just over an hour. It's usually about an hour, but like that
Yeah.
half hour kind of gets worked into a bit of like your prep, and like because you have to like shower before you go in the shower when you get out, but you spend an hour in the tank.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's fucking, it's unreal.
And
man.
like you close it on yourself, you let yourself out.
Yeah, well, mine.
Or is there like a timer lets you know and then you get out?
Well,
or-
basically, like
Someone get
the
you?
lights go out, and then when it's time again, the lights slowly dim back on with like this crazy like meditation music shit. So it almost like slowly
in the
wakes.
tank?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So it wakes you up out of your fucking like meditative state and shit. It's pretty fucking cool, man. But mine, because I'm such a fucking giant, I have to use the couples tank, which is literally like a fucking meat locker.
There's a couples tank?
Yeah. So you can go float with your fucking significant other.
Yeah.
And like fucking, but yeah, I have to use that because I'm so fucking huge. But it's awesome because it's so huge that I can fucking just like
Just
full
spread
blown
eagle.
starfish fucking how you're supposed to float.
Yeah.
Whereas fucking like
normally you're like a fucking vampire.
Yeah.
You gotta be like-
or like when we go, because we definitely have to do it.
Yeah.
Fucking
Where
there's
did you go the same, like you went to one place?
yeah, I
for
went to
all
the
of
same
them?
one for all of them.
Is there one around here?
There's more close now where I'd be interested. Like there's even one in White Rock.
Oh, shit.
I'd be interested in trying out other places for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you can. There's the cool thing is there's always like coupons. You know what I mean? Like we would always
like
do
the
these.
Groupons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would always do the Groupon ones where you'd get like 3 for the price of 2 or some shit, or so then you just it ends up being way more worth it. But
Right.
But yeah, like the one that you would go in, it was like literally looks like a fucking futuristic pod where like the hatch hydraulically opens and like the inside of it's all like lit with like these crazy blue LEDs and shit, and it like looks like a fucking space pod. It's like
It's like the cryopods from like
literally
Alien.
looks like that shit,
You know?
dude. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And then
Sick.
fucking
That's dope.
yeah, it's fucking awesome, man. Like I've had some crazy ass experiences in the tank. Like
Yo, I'm hyped, man. I wanted to do it for so long.
That was the first time I'll go into what my first like crazy experience was. It's like because it kind of took like.
Did you go alone, like for all of them, or?
I was going with my homie
people?
Tony, fucking, and then I kind of went once by myself, and then I think I went with. No, I mostly went with Tony, and then I went a couple times by myself. And then fucking.
Do you think it's better to go with someone or go alone?
I liked going with somebody because then it was kind of like you had this like reflection period afterwards.
Like how was it for you?
Yeah,
Like,
we'd
you
go
talk
for
about
lunch
shit?
afterwards,
Oh,
and then you'd kind of
sick.
just like this. It'd be like this unwind of like,
Right.
like what the fuck, like because you kind of want to be a little verbal to kind of keep it fresh in your brain.
Totally.
I felt at least, and so like the first time, it's kind of like.
Are they in? I'm just like rapid fire 21 questions right now.
We should go.
But I've only ever talked to people that want to do it. I've never talking to someone that's actually done it. But are they like the pods in the same room, or they?
No, you get your
each
own
room
separate room because you go in
okay.
fucking naked, like
full on.
full blown.
Oh, I thought you had like a little fucking Speedo or something.
No. You want nothing. You want
No distraction.
No distractions. You don't want fabric on your skin. You don't want fucking anything. Like, so you go fucking, you take your shower beforehand to make sure you're obviously not tracking in like fucking shit and dirty water and all this other stuff, right? So then you get into your fucking tank, which is, for anybody that doesn't know about isolation tanks, the water is heated to your body temperature, so you can't feel the difference in that.
It's
and then
heavily salted, right?
There's
So you
over
float.
1,500 pounds of Epsom salt in it, so that the fucking you are actually buoyant within the water and will float to the top. So you can't feel yourself floating because of now the temperature and because you're not trying to struggle to float. So you're so buoyant, you float to the top. Water same temperature as your body, and then they fucking.
You do the earplugs?
Yeah, you put an earplug. I actually ended up not doing earplugs towards the end of it because like I never wear earplugs when I'm swimming and shit.
Some people don't. Yeah.
But and also I found that it like I have really bad tinnitus, so my ears are always ringing. Where sometimes when I put earplugs in, it amplifies the ringing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So fucking that's kind of up to your own fucking discretion. But yeah, you hop in the tank, fucking buck ass naked, lights fucking shut off, and you just go into your mind, man. At first, you just start running fucking errands in your head where you're just like, okay, well, this, and start thinking about that, and I did that this week. Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Eventually,
fucking,
there's that point where
and then
you
eventually you're just like, okay, I've thought through everything.
Hello.
And then you just start, and then you just start trying to fucking like, and then it's weird. Like, you know, when like you close your eyes and like you almost like, if you push against your eyes, like the colors almost start trying to like produce
spots and you start seeing shapes.
That shit, like once you start getting into is like that meditative state, this crossover, that shit starts to just like your senses want to do something, right? Like you can't feel nothing, you can't see nothing, you can't touch nothing, you can't like, you know what I mean? It's like it needs something to do, that your senses start like fucking just start working in your head to the point where like I'd start seeing these swirling colors. And I was like, whoa, this is fucked up. So I opened my eyes because it's pitch black. There's now no difference between my eyes closed and my eyes open. What I'm seeing in my head with my eyes closed, I'm seeing with my eyes open. And so fucking these colors start swirling and shit. And then I start thinking about some shit. And then like I started kind of going in like not like freaking out, but like kind of a bit of negative thoughts. And like as I'm thinking about this shit, like everything kind of starts swirling in like a counterclockwise pattern, and I'm like, oh, this is really, no, I don't like this. And like I it was just everything was
bad shroom trip,
just going through a bad part of my brain as I was trying to like mull through all these thoughts. And it was just like, as I got into this meditative state, I was going into like not so great of an area of my brain. And so then I was kind of like, all this shit was happening, and then fucking I was able to start trying to fucking like think through it, and then like it's kind of stabled the like swirling colors a bit. And then like I was kind of like, okay, trying to get a hold of it, trying to fucking think through it, trying to fucking not let the negative take over. And then everything kind of like I said, kind of like stopped a bit, and then slowly, as I started becoming more positive and confident in myself, it was started swirling clockwise. Like, what the fuck? This is fucking weird as shit. And then as everything kind of dissipates, I'm like, oh, what?
Just nothing anymore.
No. This isn't. There's somebody in here.
What?
No, that's not a good feeling. There's somebody in this fucking tank right now. There's somebody in here. Like
It seems like the tank just got infinite, and you're just
no, like there's somebody standing in the fucking tank staring at me.
What?
And I'm like, you fucking kidding me? And then I close my eyes because I'm like, fuck this shit.
You're the
Fuck
little
this
kid, you
shit.
put the covers up over your head, right?
Open my fucking eyes. Right here. Staring me in my fucking eyes is
What?
myself.
Whoa.
I was like, what the fuck? Like it sounds like hippie ass, like fucking ass trip shit, but I'm fucking sitting here
So this
2
is
inches
this
from
is
my
only
face.
an hour.
Yeah.
for
I'm
an
probably
hour
like
sober?
half hour in right now, maybe. Like, and I'm fucking an inch
Are you
away.
sober?
Yeah, I'm high as the fucking Dickens, of course. Like
Just
we
smoking weed?
smoking weed, and then like a couple times we do edibles before we went in and shit, which was the way to go.
I was like, damn.
But
dude,
like, dude, fucking.
sounds
So here
good.
I am, like an inch away from myself, face to face. Like it took me a second to realize it was myself, but I'm face to face, staring into the eyes of this, and I'm fucking freaking out until I realize it is myself, and that I'm now standing on the outside of myself, having to observe who I am. And then I had to go through all the paces of fucking understanding who I was at that point and breaking through like misconceptions and things that I actually hated about myself and what I needed to confront in the real world.
in half an hour.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like
Yeah.
how fast that hits you. But then,
And then
like,
from there, I kind of like was okay that I was there with myself, and it was like, I can't fully explain it because it was the most fucked up feeling in the world, but like I'm trying hard my best to put it into words. But yeah, like so
articulate it. Yeah.
I'm basically there with myself, working out my own problems, and then like going on a mental journey where it literally just like after I worked through some shit, it literally turned into a motherfucking roller coaster ride where it was like I was fucking flying through space. Just fucking
Woo.
and like just kind of like almost like working shit out while it's happening in my subconscious and like getting over certain things and like just there's so much happening, but then like you get like I got confronted with some shit and I had to go on this fucking thing where now I'm going on this journey, and then to the point where I could eventually just be enjoying it, where I'm like literally just
Enjoy
fucking
the ride.
flying.
It's funny, like
It's fucked up.
so that's being like in complete darkness compared to being in complete light, right? Where both
Yo.
you lose your mind in a different way, hey?
Fuck.
But that's why I was like, that was in an hour, and you're
Yeah.
like, not even.
Like so got to a point when I like
Where you're
came out of
you're
it.
understimulated, so your mind just
Yeah, when I came out of it, it was probably only like there's still like 15 minutes left, and I'm thinking this has got to be over. I've been in here for hours,
That's crazy.
and then it's like,
no,
there's still time. Okay, and then I just like try to get back to
is
that
there like a
meditative state.
timer or something?
No, but like
So how do you know your time's up?
your mental clock starts playing games. It's the same thing with fucking Michael in the fucking room when he wakes up and goes, "It's been time." Like, surely it's been time.
Surely.
Did they
Surely.
forget about me? Like I actually thought of that. I started thinking, did they
You're like,
forget
yo,
me in here?
Are they gonna lock up and close this door, and I'm
Or
gonna be
like-
stuck in here all night?
Yeah, like, or maybe they somehow forgot the block after me and I'm still going, or and then like my brain started to try to come up with all this bullshit again
Yeah.
to keep me away from going back in. And then I'm like, no, I guess it's not time. So fuck off. Let
But-
me try to get back there.
So how do you know time's up? Do they come and get you or something?
No, that's when the lights slowly dim on with that
oh
meditation
right. Sorry, yeah,
music.
you said.
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? Because your brain wants to be like,
because I could see, like, for me at least, like if I started to lose sense of time, and I would be like, maybe this pod's broken and the lights like aren't working.
Yeah.
And, like,
Well, no, I had it once where I even,
feel
like-
you would start
like opened the
making
door
excuses
and was
and
like,
shit.
oh, okay. Like, because you have the ability to open the door whenever you want, right?
Right.
And then like same thing with like the
Interesting.
pod that you would be in, even if it was a hydraulic thing, you have a button that opens the fucking door, right? So it's like, yeah, it's just so weird. Like your brain, like just there's all these things that it wants to do, but once it kind of gets past that, it's like what it can do.
Right.
And it's fucking bizarre, man. The like the state that you're in after it is like this. Just
are you just like good vibes when you come out, or are
you're just
like,
in awe?
You're just like you look at everything else different. You're like,
Well, you definitely look at everything else differently, but like it's just the state of like, just like, you know, when you're, what would be a good way of explaining it? Almost even like when you go see like a crazy Christmas display or something like extravagant, you kind of have this like, you're taking in so much sensory, like you're like, it feels like your senses are almost new.
yeah.
It's literally almost like that. Like when you come out, because you've been in darkness for so long, your eyes haven't been working, you've only been using inside here, that all of your senses feel fresh again.
Right.
So that's why, like, we would say, like, we would go for the lunch or the meal afterwards. It would be so fucking good.
Like so flavorful.
And you just like, you're enjoying the fresh air and like just everything is so nice. And you're just like, you feel just like fresh. It's like a good reset.
Because you have like, everything's taken away, your complete darkness. And when you come to, you're like, you're like, oh damn, there really is so much around me happening at once. That's you know, is coming at you.
That's exactly it.
That you're like, you start to look at everything like
that your senses kind of go like
start
like, oh, this is what we were like you just like kept me in darkness for like just an hour, but like I get to actually like, this is what I can do on the regular. I can take all this in. Sick. You know, so it's just like, I always called it my reset, because that's exactly what it felt like. You know, it was awesome.
Dude,
I miss it heavy.
I'm stoked.
All right, well, let's fucking do it. We'll get it lined up, because fucking that needs to happen. Like for myself, I always said, like, if I could get to a point where I was just floating like once a month, like, I'd be fucking kosher.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
I feel like it would be like therapeutic.
Oh no, it is.
Right? Yeah.
To the point, even just for the fact of, I don't know if you've ever even taken Epsom salts for achy body shit.
No.
That alone, you come out feeling so good, because like I've got shitty wrists, right? My tendonitis. So I would come out, my wrists would feel so good.
It's just good for like aches and pains,
dude. Because like they even like, I do it when I feel achy. I'll pour like a half a pound of Epsom salt in my fucking thing. You're now going in a pool with 1,500 pounds of Epsom salt. So the amount of magnesium absorbed into your skin is insane. It's like literally like taking a magnesium bath, and it's like, so that alone is actually crazy good for you.
So yeah, what does that do?
I'd have to look up the actual fucking parameters of it. I just know the smart people telling me that fucking magnesium's good for this, and so it helps you with that. And like,
you're like, magnesium.
Oh fuck yo, let me get that magnesium.
Say no more. Say
no more, fam. Throwing magnesium in the mix.
Yeah.
But it's like good for like rebuilding bones and like just like joint pain and things of that nature. So anything that's like involved around that kind of stuff, whether it's like rebuilding nails and like all that, your teeth and all that kind of shit. I don't know what the fucking chemical process for that is. I'm not a botanist, but you know, fucking so like, yeah, it's just it's crazy that like for so many different reasons, it's just amazing. Even just under the fact of the like relaxing,
totally, and something new. You're like,
yeah,
right?
Like just to even have somebody relax, carefree, not touch their phone, not do anything for an hour, 1 hour.
Dude, I gotta tell you, it's been like almost a month of me not.
Yeah.
When you touch your phone, it just made me think of it. It's been like a month of me really not using my phone, and like first couple of days, like. The first day is the hardest, because you're like, you don't realize, you catch yourself and you're like, oh, I'm fucking reaching for it again. And you're like, I was just on it 5 minutes ago. You realize how much. I catch
myself doing that with Facebook, even though I've like cut it out.
How much, but dude, once you pass a couple days, like you just, dude, it's like, it feels great.
Dude, that's the same shit where I've been in. Just
I haven't opened anything in days.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, that's why I'm glad. Like I sent you a message, fucking.
Like you forget about it, and you're just like, you just.
I'm glad that
in real life.
I was already not using it, but I'm glad that Snapchat just came out with this like this update that like essentially ruined the app. Like fucking, it's more curated bullshit of trying to like make an app like, this is what we want you to see, rather than like, yo, let me see what I subscribe
like
to.
how Instagram, it's not instant anymore. It's
No,
like 6
not even
days
close.
ago.
Well, like, you know,
people's
because you remember on
posts,
Snapchat?
they tailor it to like what they think you'll
Yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah. You know, on Snapchat before, it'd be like, there's 3 screens. There's camera screen, story screen, and then message screen.
Yeah.
Now, there's camera screen. You scroll over to the left, and then there's all your friends, all their stories, and all their messages combined in one. And then the people that you were following, like that might be bigger people, like whether they're artists or musicians or porn
They
stars,
have
or whatever.
like the blue check mark. People.
Yeah. Because they're not your friend, they're no longer part of this list. They're now. I'll just even fucking show you. It's so stupid. There's now this.
What, like in the subscription thing?
This is what it is. It's all mixed in here now. So it's just this nonstop
so like
feed.
where you'd go before to watch your subscriptions.
Now it's nonstop bullshit of them
Now it's
mixing
like-
everything in with stuff that you might. So if I wanted to find somebody that I actually followed, I'd have to search. It's somewhere in here. Like,
There's no like thing you can type in a person and search them. No, not even.
no. It's just like legit. Like, I mean,
So
there
your
might
shit's
be.
just like so spread out. Like you have to like,
in amongst like sponsored
Oh, that's
ads and all this other
fucking-
bullshit where it's just like done. Not ever gonna use that again. Like,
a step away for a month, right? It's
Yeah.
like, look what happens.
yeah, like I was already not using Snapchat besides checking maybe my friend's stories or sending the odd message to my friend and stuff. And then like now, or there were certain people that I followed on Snapchat. You know what I mean? Like where
Yeah.
it just like wanted, like there was a
Like friends or whatever.
Alexiao fucking Noriao fucking this guy in Japan who like does drift events and stuff. He's an
Okay,
announcer.
yeah.
He would live stream events on his Snapchat and shit.
Sick.
Now how the fuck am I gonna find, like I have to go scroll through sponsored bullshit to this, just because he's not my friend. He's no longer in the friends list stuff where I would just regularly be able to click on it. It's now on this fucking stupid feed and like curated bullshit of we want you to see this and like
It's like a
waste your whole day
Yeah.
scrolling through our bullshit. And you're like, I'm just gonna go create some stuff. Like,
You're like,
No.
this was cool, but meh,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
like just it's not even
the
like
people always find a way to fuck shit up. Like something that's good, it always gets fucked up at a certain point, man.
yeah, and it's all at agreed usually.
That's whack.
Yeah, because now
Like, yo, we'll give you money if we can.
yeah, because now
put
people
ads
can
on
pay
your
for
shit.
fucking sponsored posts that'll just get generally mixed in with everybody scrolling through.
God.
And the more bored the person is, they're gonna push the shock button. They're just gonna scroll through the fucking feed and click on random stories they don't even know.
Yeah.
To the point where the shit autoplays. So if you're watching somebody that you do know, it'll autoplay the next sponsored post right after it.
And then it'll
then
just
into-
go through all the
Fuck you.
amount of garbage that you're just
Fuck
being.
you. Yeah.
Just here comes the airplane.
Dude, there was a thing recently
spoon-fed,
where
right?
where one of the guys, one of the developers for Facebook, like apologized to the general public for being like, yeah,
like
we
the algorithms that they use.
we fucked up.
the
We're
ads and shit.
well, no, just saying that like we fucked up in creating something that structures how society thinks, like on such a strong point.
Mm.
Because if somebody wants to see negative shit and they're only clicking on negative bullshit, that's what their feed gets tailored into, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? If somebody fucking is only clicking and posting racist shit, it turns into them only getting the racist shit. And like all that fucked up shit where it's like same thing where if somebody's being really vain and looking into certain things, that's only the stuff like that, or sorry, not necessarily the vain thing, but like if somebody's looking into something that like maybe they're super jealous about and it makes them feel like shit, but they're looking at it a few times, now they're going to start seeing more of that because they spent time looking at it.
It's a vicious cycle.
So it's this vicious
so
cycle of
gross.
tailoring how people think, right? So it's just like, again, that same thing that like what you're saying, I haven't fully stepped away because I use this shit for my business, but I haven't been on the like the scroll or letting it input. I'm only on the output.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing.
Right? Yeah.
Like,
it's almost liberating.
like literally
You're
yesterday,
Yeah.
I fucking like it sounds funny to do, but like I didn't look at my phone for, it was like 4 hours. You know what I mean? And for me, that's insane.
crazy. Yeah.
You know, because I
For
was
some
just,
people for sure. Yeah.
I was, and like for myself especially, but the reason I did that was because I sat down and I did fucking emails
worked on
for
something.
2 hours beforehand. So I did all my computer
Fuck,
shit.
eh.
Yeah, I had fucking 218 emails to go through yesterday. And that was just the emails. And then I have private messages and then all the other bullshit.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I'm just like, it gets overwhelming, right? You have to just like take it in chunks and then fucking,
Sounds exhausting.
it's like what I told you. I
You
bring
need
it
like
up all the
a
time.
fucking an assistant, dude.
Yes, but I can't afford that shit. It's like what I would tell you
I
all
feel
the
like
time.
there'd be
though,
people
that,
out
like,
there though that would just fucking
it's too hard to trust anybody with something that is your livelihood. Like 100%. Like
we need a Chin or a Jamie.
Yeah,
you know, like we need.
And even that,
to,
even so, that shit's so hard to find. Like even just recently, like I still output. Like I said, I still make posts and I still use stuff, but like I don't like get caught up in bullshit and interact with it. But like I always making posts. I'm always making posts. Like wish I had more creative people in my life. Wish I had more creators. Wish I fucking lived somewhere where people actually did shit. Blah blah blah.
Right, yeah.
It's so funny to watch the people that get offended by that stuff. They're like almost like I'm a creator, and then you're just like, people, like there's a difference between people saying that they are and actually creating stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like it's kind of what I've told you before. It's like I'm not looking to be a mentor. Like if anything, like I'm looking for a mentor. Like I want to find somebody who's like, you know what I mean? Like that I can start to learn more things from and maybe fucking cross diversify and like, but the whole thing where it's just like I want to be able to be a leech for once, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, it's so hard because it's like we're so like people are so far behind on even doing anything for themselves here that like, you know what I mean? Just to find even somebody that's like
preaching to the choir right now, man.
Bro.
I have this talk with
like
my best friend all the time where I've sort of mentioned it to you, like specifically like with what I do, I kind of like just filled this void, you know, of like what I wasn't seeing and I wanted, and so I never had like someone that did it that I was like, yo, that's sick, I want to do that too, and I'm like, I'm gonna follow in their footsteps, and it'll just work out for me. We're like, no, there's no one doing like what I want to do with it, so I'm like just kind of, you figure it out as you go. But you're like, is it the right way, is it the wrong way?
And I think that's part of even like why I'm saying like my attitude towards that shit, when like somebody's like, yo, can you show me how to do all this stuff? I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm figuring this all out. Like you're coming to me for fucking advice and I'm still just trying to figure this shit out. Like I'm nowhere, like I'm not that farther off from you. I'm just actually taking the step to actually do shit. That's the difference. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, like that's where it gets hard, right? Where it's like just even something like to have like the, like for us to have a young Jamie or like our own Chin, like to have somebody that's just legit competent even at just like being a Google searcher. Like I'm not even kidding. You know what I mean? Like for something simple as like while we're talking about stuff for like the image to already
they just
come
know
up,
to bring it up,
and they know what to search and they know where, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just it gets interesting, right? Where it's just like you
can't normal, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's like, am I holding the creative stick too high, or am I just like fed up? You know, where it's just like I just want to see some people do some shit. You know what I mean? Like we can all fucking talk about wanting to, and then be 40, and then be like, oh yeah, remember when I wanted to do that?
Or the people that did it and didn't keep at it.
Yeah, for real, right? So
people
I don't know.
give up.
It's like that shit that we were kind of talking about before the podcast. You know, like people just make it, right? It's not them working towards it for 2 decades. Like people just see like the way people naturally get put onto people's radar. Right? So it's like certain people find out about people way before they come across people like late, or they're like, yo, I slept on this person, right? That one's so funny,
right? So it's like wherever, at what point you come across someone that you like or you fuck with, or an artist you think is dope, musician, whatever, you find out about them at that point that they're at, right? Not that everything they've done. Not when they were in a fucking b-boy thing or doing like or Street Shark ads, right? It's like, you know, for real, it's the culmination of all your efforts. So and I have to say, there's no better feeling than when you're like you're in creative endeavor, or it doesn't even have to be a creative endeavor, like something that you're doing in your life, when a skill set that you did a decade ago or some shit like rears its head up and like becomes useful, and you're like, oh yeah, that's what life is just pursuing things, filling your head with knowledge, and then like being able to find a place to utilize it. You know what I mean? And like, but then also understanding that there's always a way to fucking learn and grow. But it's like,
I don't know, man. It's so interesting that like you were just saying that like you can push yourself, but you can be like your biggest doubter. But then I don't know, man. It's so hard. Like,
yeah, and what we were saying before too, before the podcast, where it's good to just sometimes you just need to step back.
Yeah.
To just like take a break to have like the fresh perspective or like
for real, right?
You know, to like reassess,
dude. It's almost
your approach.
It's literally,
and then you can come back even harder, and then you're like, "Fuck yeah!" Like
it's the fucking
maybe will inspire
it's the
you
isolation tank, fucking giving your senses that break for them to come back fresh.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? When like you've been, and that's the same thing. I used to do this when I was in audio engineering all the time. Was that your ears actually have like almost like a vocal cord to it, where your ears can actually go out of tune after time. So if you're listening to something for a certain amount of time and it's just hammering your ears will actually go out of tune, and will be fucked up and will fuck up what you think you're hearing. So if I'm sitting here engineering for 13 hours and all of a sudden I think this mix sounds like fucking shit and I'm driving myself crazy trying to EQ myself out of this corner and I gotta do this, I gotta get rid of that frequency, fuck, this is killing it, this blah 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 blah.
So you're just taking too much in that it
that your ears, like your ear actually goes out of tune because it's been hit with too much fucking information. So then you step back, come back the next day, and it sounds perfect. And you're like, oh, that was my ears that were actually out of tune. It's like literally like a string gets bent, you know what I mean? And then that like, or stretched too much, and now the string's out of tune. And so it needs to be tightened back up to get back into tune. Your ears work the exact same way. So it's like you almost have to give, I imagine that senses would almost work in the same kind of way.
Well, yeah, think about, I was just talking to someone about this yesterday at work. He has like a coffee every day. Comes to work with like McDonald's coffee, right?
Yeah.
So he gets like the seasonal ones. And then we were talking about coffees and shit you like. And then we're talking about like French vanillas, and I was like, yo, Tim Hortons French vanilla, right? It's so good. And I was like, I used to get that all the time. And then I started drinking coffee, and then I found out you could do the half French vanilla, half coffee. So cut the sweetness, but the sweetness cut like the bitterness or acidic
for sure
factor of the coffee, right?
That's what I'd have to do. I can't do French vanilla. It's too sweet.
I would only do French vanilla, right? So I was like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And then after so long of having the half and half, then one day went back to French vanilla, and I was like, whoa.
Syrup.
I was like, yo, I can't believe I used to just drink these like water.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's the same thing, right? It's like you get used to something, and then you take a break, you go back to it, and then you're like, holy fuck.
Holy
like
shit.
Food is a big one, like your taste buds, right?
Absolutely,
like,
dude.
Insane.
Yeah, senses, man. You give them a little break, and then they fucking
retune,
right? Get their fucking shit back, tighten up, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, damn, that good, man. It's fucking good.
Yeah.
The body is an interesting fucking beast. Fucking there's a
interesting beast.
Yeah, dude. Fucking it's for fucking damn sure. I don't know how fucking long we want to go with today's podcast, but I think I got something fucking sick that I want to at least end off with. Fucking so obviously huge Casey Neistat fan.
Hot Ones.
Well, he did the Hot Ones, which also leads into something that was one of my favorite episodes too. Like so good. Yeah. Like he's just fucking. It gives you a little insight into his character. I like when
like you see them like when you go on YouTube and they pop up and you're like, for something like that, like I've been following for a long time.
Yeah.
And then some of the people I could care less about, or you're like, oh, who's that? Never heard of that guy, right?
Which sometimes it's led me into people where like I'm now into that person.
Totally, yeah.
You know.
And how you said, I saw that and I was like, yo, Kurt's probably fucking.
And then
hyped.
I like sent you a message like like 10 minutes later or some shit.
And then there's ones where you're like, oh my god, they made it on the show, right?
Yeah,
so I had that when I saw Logic on there. I was like, yo,
that
I was
one
like, fuck
sick.
yeah, Logic's on there.
And so fucking Casey does his, like I showed you like the Halloween video he did.
Yeah.
And then last year he did a big Christmas video where they fucking had this company custom make the world's largest drone that could fly a person.
Yeah.
And so they had him fucking flying over this Christmas village.
Being toted like the snowboard.
Yeah, with the snowboard and shit. So he's always known where he teams up with Jesse, this other huge fucking Jesse Wellens, this other massive YouTuber, like 10 million subscribers or some shit.
Is that the dude like from like the boyfriend girlfriend?
Yeah. and fucking so they always team up, do these huge fucking videos. That's who did the Star Wars video with them.
The Aladdin.
Yeah, and
carpet
the Aladdin
and
carpet
Silver
video,
Surfer.
Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
So they do lots of these big videos. So they've been planning this one for like a fucking minute. They wanted to do something sick for this Christmas, and rather than doing it as just like a big spectacle, kind of like they usually do, just to make a crazy video, they wanted to do something to actually like give back, rather than just like, oh, let's do something to make a lot of money. So they fucking teamed up with Samsung, and I forget exactly where it was. I might as well just look up the actual fucking video. They teamed up with Samsung and got this local Boys and Girls Club, and it's like somewhere in like, I want to say like fucking like Nashville or some shit. But anyways, I'll find it out. And basically, very like lesser off fucking place where these kids aren't getting fucking extra Christmas presents, aren't getting fucking like the, you know,
like Detroit.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's not fucking the best situation for these kids come Christmas time. Right. So he basically teamed up with Samsung. They bring all these kids out to this fucking abandoned mall, which is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So basically before they bring them out to this mall, they prep all these kids, they bring them out all these fucking gifts, and it's like this crazy gift pack from Samsung, which is like a creator pack where it has like the newest like Note phone, a gimbal, a tripod, a fucking light, a storage, like USB hard drive, everything you need to become like a vlogger essentially. And then so they're like, okay, we're gonna teach you guys how to vlog, and so these kids are like stoked, thinking that that's like the present, right?
Yeah.
And so fucking they're hooking up all these kids with all this gear. Kids are like fucking crying because they've like never received something so good.
How many kids?
So it's this whole Boys and Girls Club, right? And so fucking
it's like 100 kids or something.
Yeah, about 100 kids or some shit. And they bring them to this abandoned mall that they sourced out that's been used for like lots of movies and stuff. And they converted the entire mall, like not the entire mall, but the main area of the mall into this like winter wonderland.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. And so fucking they led the kids through this mall, like basically being like, yo, here's them giving all the kids fucking like all their presents and shit, giving them fucking free stuff. Like all the kids just losing their shit because like they're not getting new phones. They don't have fucking computers and laptops and shit. And so like it was just so heartwarming, like just seeing this alone. And then fucking so everybody's getting all their stuff. They're telling these kids you're gonna teach them how to vlog. And then fucking,
is that Nigel Sylvester?
Yeah, Nigel Sylvester's out there.
Like,
they brought all these other creators. It's like 12 different creators. Nigel Sylvester was one of them. Jesse Wellens, John Hill, that skateboarder I talk about. Just a whole bunch of people. So they brought out all these crazy creators and fucking. So they give all these kids this shit, and then they bring them out to this fucking this mall. But the kids don't know what's going on at the mall. They think it's like an abandoned mall.
No idea.
And so fucking the kids have no idea what's going on. They bring them this thing, make it seem like it's like almost like a haunted mall. And the kids go like, what the fuck? They lead them down some hallway. And then they get to this point. I'll get to the actual point here.
That's the most exciting part.
And they walk them through to like this big red curtain, and they let the kid fucking pull the rope. And then it's just like crazy winter wonderland where they built like ski jumps down the escalators and have professional snowboarders and skiers and shit doing tricks off the fucking railings and stuff. And like fucking
whoa, sick,
dude.
And they have it fake snowing,
like throwing fucking feathers through fans.
That guy just hugged a fucking backflip.
Yeah, dude. And then they build all these like fake gingerbread houses that have like edible candy on the roofs and shit, like a train going through the whole fucking steez.
Dude, that's amazing.
It's so sick,
so
right?
Good.
Like so like just like seeing all these kids so fucking happy.
Yeah.
It was definitely rad because it's the last few years these videos have gone so viral that you're like expecting him to do another one and almost like tongue in cheek being like, oh yo, you're gonna make like crazy bank off for another Christmas video, and then he's like, nah, let's fucking just do it for the kids, you know?
So awesome,
so fucking rad. Definitely got a little misty eyed watching this the first time. So sick. So yeah, they got like the fake ice for a little skating rink and shit.
Sick. Whoa, giant gummy bears
and shit.
That's a vlog, man. No, we're both vloggers at the same time.
Yeah, dude, so rad. Like seeing somebody that actually has like like some influence actually making some shit happen for people. Like it's just
Yeah, just doing it just cause.
exactly, man. Really, these fucking kids, just like they deserve that shit, man. Like the
And they'll
leaders-
remember it for the rest of their life, you know?
The leader of the Boys and Girls Club was like, when he was explaining like most of the kids' situations and shit, like he was like almost in tears, just explaining what like their daily life is like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like to be able to go do this shit where these kids have not like almost like
All these kids are thinking about is the moment. they're in,
yeah.
Nice and tight,
Right.
right?
So they bring back the gigantic drone for a little fucking the final
See flies
hurrah.
through.
Yeah. So they get fucking Casey dressed up in this fucking Santa suit, get him his big harness on.
Okay, are you guys ready?
And then they launch this thing indoors.
I need you guys to count down from 10.
When was this video posted?
Like last week?
Oh,
A couple days ago, I think. Yeah, real recent. So it's still fresh. It's starting to make its rounds now, and it's gone pretty viral just because it's just like doing some shit
Yeah,
for kids, man.
yeah.
Like it's so fucking sick.
that's awesome.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
I love that. The happy holidays banner.
Sick.
Yeah, dude.
Awesome.
So awesome. Nice to see somebody fucking doing some awesome shit this holidays.
Yeah, man. Sick.
Super sick.
Hell yeah.
Back to a new YouTube video.
And so the sick thing about that is that like that might have had such an impact on some of those kids that how many of those kids might end up becoming creators now.
Right? Just
You know
the
what I
one
mean?
in the 100.
Yeah. Got given some gear that they never would have had. Got given an opportunity.
Right?
You know,
The
saw some
inspiration, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
You're
they
like,
just saw these
whoa.
people make this shit happen for not for making money, just to like make some kids fucking actually have a decent Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was fucking
Sick.
super sick. There's a whole bunch of like behind the scenes videos and stuff from all the other creators because like there's like 12 different fucking YouTubers that went out there
So
and
like
stuff.
behind the scenes.
Yeah, so you get to see
yeah.
like how much went into that project, and it's fucking.
There's a lot of people, man.
It's a lot of people, man. It just goes like I always try to remind myself nowadays, and everybody's like, "Oh man, this world's so fucking shitty. The world's worst time to live in." I'm like, okay, look. Yes, there's some shittiness, but if you look, there's a lot of fucking greatness. Like,
Oh, yeah.
there's some people doing some amazing shit out there. So it's pretty fucking. It's pretty easy. If you take a look around.
It's all your outlook. You know?
Yeah, for sure, right? So fucking yeah, fucking what are we at now? Like fucking 5 days till Christmas.
Fucking crazy. 4 days
What?
till your birthday,
4
man.
days till I'm old
as balls.
Fucking 31, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Hyped or what?
I don't know.
As you get older, are you one of those
Once you
people
turn
that
30, I think that's like I got
you
like
don't care anymore, or you start caring?
no, I don't care anymore. No.
Did you ever care when you like each year? Did you ever get into that? I never really.
No. 30 was the only one where I actually had like a little bit of a like, oh shit. Because that's like that's an age.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Had a little like existential fucking angst where you're like, oh shit, all right. I didn't think I was gonna be freaked out about this, but I kind of am. This is a little weird. Guess I better get my shit together. All right. But yeah, man. So fucking. I guess on that note, fucking. I hope everybody has a fucking Merry Christmas.
Super merry. We might have a white Christmas.
Yeah.
As we are right now.
Yeah, it's white and out here right now, but hopefully doesn't turn into slush like it always does within a few days. So,
I think it will. But
yeah, we can only hope for the best. Hope everybody gets out and has some good food, enjoy some fucking time with fam, gets some good presents, give some good presents,
and just spend time with family.
Yeah, dude.
Be thankful for what you got.
Be thankful for what you got, and
Be safe.
Take some time to enjoy some shit. Be safe, and we'll see y'all in the next pod. I guess fucking we won't be back for
Till after Christmas.
Christmas, so like a week or so. But That's
But yeah,
is what she is.
signing
Man.
off. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Word.
See you guys.
Merry ho ho. Lates, fam.